Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto uses Kage Bunshin to train for Chunin exams. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Black Infinity 1289 and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Sharingan wins. Prologue. Awakening. It's the day of Naruto's graduation exam and he was in high spirits. With high hopes, he went to the academy to pass and took his graduation test with confidence. He did well, at least up to a passing level in his written test, and barely passed the accuracy test. He was called to perform the required 3 academy jutsu. He did henge well and changed into his idol, the yondaime. The kawarimi went well with a nearby chair. The last one was his toughest, the Bunshin jutsu. Naruto performed the required hand seals, and with a puff of smoke, a dead pale clone came into existence. Naruto hoped it would stay, but it disappeared a second later in the same smoke. "I'm sorry Naruto. You have failed," said the sad voice of his favorite Chunin sensei, Haruka Yamino, whom Naruto looked up to as a surrogate big brother. He ran from the academy building, unable to bear his third failure, and sat on a lonely swing which became his go-to spot in the academy when he is sad. He always sat there when he was sad as it is always silent, unlike the passers-by who always call him names. "Did you hear? The demon brat failed really? Good thing. Did it seriously think it can pass and kill us? Yondaime's soul will rest in peace now." "No doubt, he will," Naruto heard people mutter. Having heard them thousands, if not millions of times, he got accustomed to it. But the last part is new, which I didn't care about. He sat there, wallowing in his sorrow for some time when he heard footsteps and looked up to see Mizuki-sensei, Haruka's assistant, walking towards him. What he told amazed Naruto. After all, he won't be happy when they get a second chance to do what they want the most. His sensei told him about a secret graduation exam, which is in his sensei's power to make him genin if he managed to retrieve a scroll from the Hokage tower, learn a jutsu from it within a specified time. Being given a second chance to prove himself, Naruto accepted the mission without thought and went to the Hokage tower to do it. He is going to make it this time. Hokage tower. As he entered the Hokage tower, by escaping all traps and people guarding it, he saw none and went to the room Mizuki-sensei told him about and found a large scroll with so many ink markings on it as instructed. He had found it. Naruto thought and took it and exited the room. Only to come face to face with the famed shinobi no Kami, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Sandaime Hokage himself. "Naruto, what are you doing here at this hour? Are you feeling alright?" asked the old man he calls Jiji. Naruto was shocked to find this soon, but he replied to cover it up. "I'm fine Jiji. I'm just walking around and on a secret mission." "Bye," he said and escaped through a nearby window. The old man was surprised but went into the room to check if any were missing and found a valuable item missing. Naruto took the scroll of seals, he thought in shock. The scroll of seals is a scroll that has many forbidden jutsu which are banned by the Hokage from general use as they are dangerous. Hiruzen came out of his shock quickly and went to call the only person who can find Naruto. This is an important mission and should be kept under wraps at all costs. Haruka hurried to the Hokage tower as he was called urgently by the Hokage through Anbu. He opened to see the Sandaime looking towards the village. "You called me, Hokage-sama?" he asked with a bow. "Yes Haruka. I have a mission for you and it must be kept under wraps at all costs," said the Sandaime in a serious tone and Haruka nodded in acknowledgement. "Hi, Hokage-sama. What is this about?" Haruka asked curiously as he doesn't know any important mission at this hour. Naruto took the forbidden scroll. "Haruka," the Sandaime raised his hand to silence any incoming protest from Haruka. "I know he won't do it, but he told me about a secret mission. I think someone played him to do it. They might be planning to get the scroll for themselves, and if I tell this to all our forces, they would have escaped amid all the chaos. This is going to be an A rank mission and is to be done silently without anyone knowing anything. I entrust this mission to you, Haruka. Naruto's safety is a high priority as well. Don't let anyone harm Naruto. Prepare yourself for combat as well, we don't know what they have planned." Dismissed. Hiruzen ordered and Haruka bowed and left the Hokage tower in a shunshin. Scene break. Meanwhile, in forests around Konoha. What can I learn? This or this?" Naruto asked loudly as he pointed at all the jutsu that was in the forbidden scroll. He saw an eye-catching one. Forbidden clone jutsu it read. Interested in its name, Naruto read it. 1. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu Shadow Clone Jutsu. Rank B. Type. Ninjutsu. Status. Kenjutsu. Hand seals. Cross. The Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu, is a technique developed by the Nidaime Hokage, Tobirama Senju. Similar to the basic clone jutsu, this technique creates copies of the user. However, these clones are real instead of illusions. The user's chakra is evenly distributed among every clone, giving each clone an equal fraction of its overall power. The clones are capable of performing techniques, including the shadow clone jutsu itself, on their own and can even bleed, but will usually disperse after being hit by a strong enough force. The clones can also disperse on their own or be dispelled by the user of the technique. This piqued Naruto's interest. As normal Bunshins has become a nightmare, he thought of trying it, but stopped seeing that something else was written in continuation and read it. When dispelled, the user and other clones get the information that the clone learned in its life. Warning: this technique requires at least Jounin level chakra reserves, and dispelling multiple clones at once may cause brain damage and lead to death in the case of low chakra users. Clones depend upon the amount of chakra that the user has. Wow. A clone jutsu that is solid and can send memories to the user. I must learn this, thought Naruto in joy. He continued, he sees if anything else will pique his interest. 2. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. Type: Ninjutsu. Status: Kenjutsu. Rank: A. Hand seals. Cross Ram. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu is an advanced variation of the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu and was banned by the Yondaime Hokage. This is the same as Shadow Clone Jutsu, but the number of clones increases. Instead of tens of clones, hundreds of clones will be created. This technique can also kill a shinobi, either due to severe chakra exhaustion or overload of information. Page level chakra reserves are needed for this jutsu to be performed, as shinobi can die by a mere attempt if they don't have enough chakra reserves. Concluded the jutsu, and Naruto got curious. He was told he had a lot of chakra once by his jiji. So he estimated at least Kage level reserves, as it was not much. He smiled brightly, though you can see his mask crack with a devilish grin on his face. Naruto didn't notice it. He can learn something new at last. He is fed up with all the excuses his sensei gave him at the academy. Even though he is seen as goofy and knuckleheaded, he is an intelligent kid. He made this goofy facade in his pursuit to gain attention, and it started crack today, releasing the hidden genius, the true Uzumaki Naruto. He started learning the 2 jutsu, and it just took him 2 hours to learn both jutsu perfectly and make perfect clones. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu Shadow Clone Jutsu, called Naruto, he tried, with no daily. After a few tries, he made 4 shadow clones form to his sides, smiling widely. Yes. I did it. I learned a B-jutsu. Now to learn more, said Naruto, dispelling his clones and started skimming the scroll for any other jutsu he can learn. Something extra might help him as an ace like that team's fireball jutsu. He found other styles of clone jutsu as well. He read through them and took them like a fish to water. 3. Bunshin Daibakuha, Great Clone Explosion. Rank A. Type: Ninjutsu. Kenjutsu. Class: Offensive. Range: Short range, 0 to 5 meters. The user creates a shadow clone, intending for their opponents to attack the clone at close range. After a certain amount of time has passed, the clone detonates, creating a large explosion. 4. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Blood Clone. Rank A. Type: Ninjutsu. Clone Technique. Class: Supplementary. Hand signs: Dragon Snake. Blood Clone Jutsu was first created by Kame Uzumaki. As expected, the user makes a clone of themselves, but in this case, the doppelganger is made of blood. As with their shadow counterpart, these clones have a fraction of the user's overall power, but are useful for attacks and other diversions. They are capable of bleeding and are quite durable. Should they be defeated, they will return to their blood form, spraying the opponent with it, marking them that will allow the user to track them. When dispelled, the user and other clones get the information that the clone learned. This technique requires at least high Jounin level chakra reserves to make one, and dispelling multiple clones at once may cause brain damage and blood depletion that may result in death. The jutsu concluded. Naruto thought of practicing them, but thought better of it as he is on a time constraint and remembered the required hand seals and moved on to other things written in the scroll. Chakra Natures and Kekkei Genkai. Read the title of the next topic, and Naruto got interested and continued. Chakra Natures are determined by using the chakra paper and channeling the chakra through them. When shinobi find out about their chakra, they can use them as their chosen elements in combat. To become Chunin, a basic mastery of one chakra nature is taken into consideration. To be a Jounin, a shinobi must have mastery over at least 2 elements: the primary affinity and the second affinity. Shinobi often than not face the problem of having only one natural affinity. In those scenarios, they can choose one element of their choice to master. There is a technique that allows them to gain another element. All they have to do is to draw the following seal on the ground and smear their blood on it with the kanji of the element they chose in the middle. This will result in either 2 possibilities. Whether the seal succeeds in adding the second affinity to their chakra system or on failing to add, it creates a minimal affinity towards the chosen element. The risk lay in the process. While the process is going on, the seal will go through the blood and chakra stream of the caster to find the affinities that lay latent in them. The process is painful and may cause immediate death if not treated immediately in case of failure. This is invented by the Uzumaki clan. They had invented it as they have a high healing factor which allows them to endure the process with less pain and heal fast because of their strong vitality. The Uzumaki were the only clan that can perform the sealing ritual and come out without any loss. They did this to create more natural water users as they are surrounded for defense and offense. The Uchiha clan, my fellow Senju and Uzumaki who found this scroll and were able to read this, I, Tobirama Senju, write this to give the knowledge I have learnt about the famed Uchiha clan to you, my fellow descendants and clansmen. I can't have this information known to all and risk the Uchiha clan revolt. So, I suggest you implore caution to whom you choose to tell, but keeping it a secret is wise. He read Tobirama Senju's letter addressed to his descendants. Apparently, they belonged to the same clan before separation, but still held good relations after separation as well. The message had so many that made Naruto think again about some things, and his respect for the dead clan and the Nidaime increased. When the Uchiha were around, they would treat him like trash and act as though they were gifts of God to earth. But after reading more about them, he understood more about the clan. It is a shame that they were not around any longer. Naruto sighed and read through some more forbidden knowledge. His thirsty mind took every last bit of knowledge he can read before Mizuki-sensei comes. Naruto thought of thanking the man when he saw him for the help he unknowingly did. It had been another 2 hours when Naruto heard 4 steps and turned in the direction. I found you, said Iruka, breathing heavily. He searched long and hard and found Naruto at last. He sighed in relief after seeing the blonde in one piece. You found me, Iruka-sensei. But you didn't catch me. Naruto said and saw Mizuki-sensei come out of the bushes with a serene smile and as he is looking at him. You did well, Naruto. Now give me the scroll and you will pass, he said, his features darkening when he said about Naruto passing. He also noticed Iruka but decided to play cool. Naruto smiled widely at the man. Thank you, Mizuki-sensei. I have learnt a jutsu as you told me to. Let me show you. Naruto said, pushing the scroll behind him and forming a cross sign. Mizuki was outraged. The demon brat is not understanding him and wasting his precious time. Time he could use running away from the village as there is no emergency meeting by the Hokage and only Iruka came. He smiled evilly at the turn of events. Seems like the senile old monkey caught up to his age and only sent Iruka to fight me, he thought in glee. And continued his act. No need, Naruto. As you have already taken the scroll and learned a jutsu, that is enough for your field promotion. Mizuki said a bit too late as 4 clones of Naruto poofed into existence beside him. Both Mizuki and Iruka were surprised. It's the same day that Naruto had failed to create a single clone and now he created 4 clones. Instead of his urgency, Mizuki continued his play and started walking closer to Naruto. To take the scroll by force and make a run for it. He doesn't have time to play this demon brat silly tricks. Well done, Naruto. I didn't expect you to be successful in your work, I see, he said sweetly, but cut off by Iruka. Naruto, don't give that scroll to Mizuki. He tricked you into stealing it from the Hokage tower. Hokage-sama has assigned me this mission to retrieve you and the scroll safely. He is a traitor, Naruto. Don't give the scroll to him. Iruka shouted as Mizuki started to walk towards Naruto. So he found it, huh? What will you do now? Naruto, give me the scroll. Shouted Mizuki with a manic gleam in his eyes. Naruto stumbled back, shocked and a bit hurt. What? You won't give me and trust Iruka? Then let me tell you a secret that is hidden from you for your whole life, but the whole village knows. Mizuki said with the same manic grin as Iruka's face paled. He knew well what Mizuki is going to say. Mizuki, don't, it's forbidden. Iruka exclaimed, fearing Naruto's reaction. Do you see, Naruto, he is still trying to keep my mouth shut. Anyway, the truth is, when the Kyuubi attacked nearly 13 years ago, the Kyuubi is not killed as told to everyone. The Kyuubi cannot be killed as it is just a massive chakra with consciousness. The Yondaime had no choice but to seal it. And he chose you, Naruto. He sealed the Kyuubi in you. That is the reason why the villagers hate you. Didn't you think why were you hated even though you didn't do anything to them? Why they are afraid of you and didn't like you and why everyone used to call you names like demon child, demon brat, etc. Tell me, Naruto, didn't you ever wonder how your parents died or who they were and even Iruka didn't like you? He asked, with his grin growing more degenerate as words came out. Naruto's face saddened deeper and deeper after each sentence. He couldn't bear it and tears started to fall freely from his eyes. He turned to Iruka for one last confirmation and his mourning and sorrowful expression told him everything. You are the reincarnation of the Kyuubi itself. You are the monster that destroyed Konoha and took so many lives on that day. You are the demon. Exclaimed Mizuki. His face was full of twisted pleasure. The wall broke in Naruto after hearing those words. He is the demon fox. Did he kill many? He is a monster. His dream of becoming Hokage was not a possibility now. He knew it. They won't accept him whatever he does. He only felt one emotion at that moment, despair. All his dreams and hopes of becoming Hokage of the village vanished and his light was gone. He felt being dragged into darkness. He can feel despair roll out of him in waves. His body shook. He trembled. Inside of his seal, Kyuubi saw something. The door, which was not present there when he last saw, came into view and all the chains blocking the entry broke loose. He saw the door vanish and his eyes widened at the familiar feeling. Iruka couldn't help but kick himself for not being there for Naruto when he needed it. He drowned in his despair, forgetting about the mission entirely. Mizuki was having the best time of his life. The look of despair in the demon brat's eyes is something he always wanted to see. He laughed deviously. When he felt a sudden surge of chakra, he turned to check on the demon brat. He was facing down, his face covered by his hair casting a shadow on his eyes. Iruka stood up after the surge of chakra, regaining his confidence. "You are not the demon fox, Naruto. You are just its container. You know the difference between a kunai and the scroll, right? It's just like that. Yes, I admit when I first saw you, I also thought like everyone else, but you proved me wrong, Naruto. You are not the demon fox, not that monster. You are the hero who saved us and is still saving the village from the demon fox by holding it in you. Villagers are mistaken and with time, they will see you as what you are supposed to be and not as that fox just like how I came to understand," said Iruka with passion and confidence. Naruto lifted his head towards Mizuki and he would have sworn that he saw red eyes instead of cerulean blue eyes that of the brats. He turned to Iruka and smiled. "I hope you are right, Iruka-sensei. That one day, I'll be acknowledged and will become the Hokage, believe it." He exclaimed sadly and Iruka smiled at his determination. Mizuki growled. "How is this possible?" He revealed the biggest plot hole, only to have the demon brat bounce back. No, he wouldn't allow it. He took the Fuuma shuriken which was on his back and threw it at Naruto, which slashed his left arm a bit. Naruto looked at Mizuki who took another one and threw it at Iruka to stop the scarred Chunin from helping Naruto. "No." Naruto shouted and threw a kunai which hit the shuriken and changed its trajectory. It then hit a nearby tree. Mizuki felt outraged at this. "Why you, demon brat? You like to save your previous Iruka-sensei now. Let's see you try." Mizuki said and performed a set of hand seals. Oten. Dirixum, Earth style. Earth spears, called Mizuki and an earth spike pierced Iruka's leg, injuring him and restricting his mobility. Iruka cried in pain and seeing this, Naruto saw red and made a cross sign. "Had you Kage Bunshin no jutsu," Naruto shouted and 1,000 clones came into existence. "You are not going to hurt Iruka-sensei." They all shouted in unison and attacked at once. "Naruto Uzumaki barrage," they shouted and struck Mizuki wherever possible with their feet. A bloody pale Mizuki was left after Naruto's attack as he was unconscious with his mouth open and teeth broken with a shocked expression on his face. Naruto walked up to Iruka. "Are you alright, Iruka-sensei? That team didn't hurt you, right?" Naruto asked looking at the hole in Iruka's leg in concern to which Iruka smiled in joy. His Naruto is still there even after Mizuki revealed about the Kyuubi. "This must be treated by white people, sensei," Naruto said, referring to the medical ninja, and laughed in joy. After that, some Anbu came and took them, with an unconscious Mizuki to the T&I department and Naruto and Iruka to the Hokage tower. Scene break. Hiruzen saw everything through his magic ball. It is nifty like this sometimes. He had a pensive expression as if thinking deeply. Now that the cat was out of the bag, Naruto may change. He saw the expression of despair on the blonde's face. It was very tragic that he had to know the truth this way. He couldn't help but feel sorry for the boy. He should comfort him and if possible, cheer him up with a jutsu scroll or two. He doesn't want to have as dull and sad Naruto. Naruto should be Naruto. He should be cheerful with his goofy smile. He saw his Anbu back with Naruto and Iruka and Toho and Shunshin and turned his attention to them. "Anbu, dismissed," he ordered and with a small bow, they vanished. "I'm sorry that you have to find out about the Kyuubi from a traitor, Naruto-kun. I'm really sorry. I kept it a secret to keep you safe," he immediately said solemnly. "It is time to face the music. All this time, I don't know why they treat me like that. You could have at least told me why, Gigi. At least then, I would have done something better than trying to gain their attention," Naruto said sharply. Hiruzen sighed. He knew he had done so many mistakes in his life but didn't think Naruto to be this sharp and forthcoming as soon as the cat was out. "I'm sorry, my boy. I admit that it is a mistake. I will try to not do it again. Now is there anything else?" He asked but internally prayed that this is the end of the matter. "But Kami." Naruto had other ideas. "Is there anything else, you ask? After the big bad secret you have kept from me, now you dismiss it as a normal occurrence?" Naruto asked sharply, his tone having an edge. Hiruzen was taken aback by his question. How could he think about this? Seems like Mizuki did do something to the little blonde he is fond of. He is unusually sharp and is thinking before asking anything. That is a welcome change, but in this situation, it started to become a pain in his backside. He smiled at the change in Naruto nonetheless. He thought he couldn't see this day. But another question came to his mind. What about the inheritance he was left with? Should I say it now or not? He thought about it. He is divided. Naruto already went through a trauma, and if he reveals with another, Kami knows what happens. He shook his head negatively, concluding not to. Now is not the time. He needs to calm the blonde down before anything else. I'm sorry for dismissing it like that, Naruto. But I kept it a secret for your safety. Please forgive this old man. I promised to make amends, pleaded the Sandaime. Iruka wanted to intervene. But he knew how traumatic Naruto's experience was and stayed silent. Naruto needs to let it all out. He saw Naruto think about it for some time. Okay, Gigi. But this time tell me before you take any decision relating to my life. Is that all? Are there anything else? Asked Naruto in agreement. He is too tired to deal with this and decided to give the old man the benefit of doubt. He waited expectantly for the old man to say something, but he didn't. Hiruzen was tempted to say everything to Naruto. But he stopped himself. He can't now. He can't risk Naruto's sanity with all the covered secrets. And so he chose not to and nodded negatively. Naruto nodded in agreement and his demeanor changed, his muscles relaxing and face relaxing. He relaxed in his chair. The mission went well, right? He asked, and Naruto nodded excitedly, though Hiruzen can't see through it. The mask. He only hoped he could come out of this trauma unharmed. At least he can hope, right? This is labeled as an A rank mission and it will be added to your official mission list as a shinobi. As of this day, Uzumaki Naruto, you will be the genin of Konohagakure no Sato. Sandaime said, taking a leaf headband and giving it to Naruto, who tied it around his forehead and smiled brightly at the Hokage, and both older men smiled back. Congratulations, Naruto. This is my gift for you becoming a genin, Naruto-kun, said the Sandaime, and took a book from his desk and gave it to Naruto. It read Basics of Sealing and had a red swirl on it. It has a set of 10 books in a bundle. It is a book on Fu and Jutsu from the Uzumaki clan of the Whirlpool village. If you manage to complete them, I'll give you more, he offered. Naruto's eyes widened. He had a clan and turned to Hiruzen to ask about his parents. No, Naruto-kun, I'll tell you about your parents when you become Chunin. I'll also give you your inheritance then, the Sandaime declined before Naruto can ask, and the blonde sighed but nodded. As Gigi always evades the question of his parents. Iruka only nodded along, not understanding what was happening. He cleared his throat to speak. Naruto, as a gift on your graduation, we'll go to Ichiraku and you can eat as much as you want, he said, and Naruto cheered Raymond and they both left the Hokage tower after receiving the mission payment. Naruto was given 20,000 ryo as his payment as he was not a shinobi during the mission and accepted it with joy. He is happy with the extra money as he is going to buy new clothes and weapons to start his shinobi life. He went to Ichiraku and happily ate his ramen while he explained about his graduation to the ramen chefs, Tucci and Aim. They felt happy and gave Naruto a coupon for free ramen for a week as a celebration, and Naruto accepted it with a happy smile. Naruto enjoyed his meal with Iruka while he sadly looked at the mission payment he received vanish into broth and noodles. Scene break. The went by after that and Naruto reached his dingy apartment and stared around with pain-filled eyes. Though he managed to fool the Hokage and others, he was deeply hurt and cried himself to sleep. Not knowing the subtle changes going on in his body while the Kyuubi stared at his container in disgust. The morning came by soon, and Naruto decided to go shopping to shop for his new shinobi supplies and other basics for his new shinobi life with the extra money he received yesterday. He is satisfied that he now knew the reason behind the stares and derogatory comments on him behind his back by the villagers. Though that didn't make it any better, he felt at ease that he can't change them with his current happy-go-lucky attitude. He tried in all shinobi supply shops and was promptly kicked out as they didn't want to sell him anything. He wanted to try one last time and went to a shop at the end of the street which is at a corner, out of the way to many. It read Higurashi weapon stores and shinobi supplies. He entered to see a full armory in the shop. There are lots and lots of weapons and shinobi related items. He can't even identify some, though he knew he is not good at remembering stuff. He did loops around looking at all of them in awe. He heard footsteps and turned around to see who it is. Denton heard the doorbell ring and came to the store proper to greet the customer from the inventory room. She saw a short blonde kid with an orange jumpsuit and a forehead. She assumed him to be newly minted genin and went to ask him what he wants. Welcome to Higurashi Weapons Store, how can I help you? She asked politely. Wow, is this your shop? It is amazing, the blonde boy said in awe. Yes, now tell me what do you want? Shinobi clothing, equipment, weapons. We have all of them, she offered with a smile, her chest puffing out in pride. I first thought of buying only supplies, but your shop has many things. So I'm going to start with my new shinobi attire, he said, and Tenten smiled widely at that. The obnoxious orange jumpsuit was like screaming kill me, and Tenten knew that won't work in their practical life where skill and stealth matter the most. Good decision. Now follow me. "We are going to take the equipment first," she said, and Naruto nodded and followed her around the large store. He doesn't know why he wants to change his orange jumpsuit as it was with him for the entirety of his life as far as he can remember, but he thought it was for better. Inside Naruto, the Kyuubi was laughing his ass off. How can this idiot be that dumb? He is changing from within and he can't understand it. Well, he is providing me entertainment, why not enjoy? He thought and watched in interest. Naruto took a few sets of shuriken, kunai and their sharpening kits. He also took some ninja wire. After putting them in a pack, he proceeded to the clothing section and tried so many colors for his attire. "Yes, this looks perfect," said Tenten excitedly. The customer is very adamant about his choice of colors. He wanted a bit of orange as a remainder, and she relented. He chose a black shirt with grey Anbu pants with a light blue zipper on top of it with fishnet inside. His attire consists of red and green strips in different places on the shirt and has so many pockets for shinobi use as well. He also took plain black and other color shirts with black and blue pants for casual wear. He told Tenten to stitch the Uzumaki clan swirl into the attire and she obliged. Naruto also bought fingerless gloves, arm guards and shin guards for protection and went to the counter for payment. He knew his shopping is going to be costly. Tenten calculated everything he bought. It is quite a sum of things combined. "Your bill is 7,829 ryo," she said looking at the calculator and saw a shocked Naruto. "Only 8,000 ryo?" he asked doubtfully. "Yes," she replied impatiently. "What is this guy's problem? Their shop is the premier weapons and shinobi supplies shop and this guy can't afford their rates." She knew their store's rates are affordable when compared to other shops. Tenten's irritated internal rant cut off when Naruto put 8,000 ryo in front of her with a large smile in a flash. A smile that made her day better. "Thank you. If it is just 8,000 ryo, then can you show me a sword as well? I want to buy what is it called?" Naruto said, scratching his head, and Tenten understood what he was trying and nodded in understanding and took him to the sword section. She started to explain the various types of swords in front of her, which included a tanto, katana, broadswords and long swords. Naruto looked through all of them as any didn't interest him much. "Do you have anything else?" Naruto asked. Seeing that he is not interested in them, Tenten went to the back of the store to bring other swords available. She brought many swords with various designs. One, in particular, piqued his interest with its design. It is a katana that is at least 2 feet long with a black hilt with a circular guard with rubies in the middle. But the thing that interested him is the Uzumaki swirl which is on either side of the guard. The same red swirl with black lines which were on his back. Naruto picked it up. A small needle pierced his right thumb finger which held the sword and Naruto felt his blood trickle on the sword. Seals started forming on it and disappeared as fast as they appeared. The sword glowed dimly and Naruto heard a small tune in his head from the place he touched the sword. There was like a soothing feeling. The feeling of love, acceptance spread through him and he felt at peace. He took the sword and gave it a test swing. He liked her, he doesn't know how, but he knew it. He took her up and checked out. Tenten noticed this and put down all the swords she is rummaging through and walked towards Naruto. "That sword is in our store for at least a decade. No one seems to take interest in it. It is a costly one, but we are trying to sell it to the first customer who likes it. So you will get a 50% discount. It is 10,000 ryo," she said with a smile. Naruto pulled 10,000 ryo and paid without any protest. He knew what he picked was expensive, but the feel of her in his hands is enough for him. He took the scabbard and kept the sword in it. The scabbard was a purple one with gold endings on it. It also has some seals on it and a pattern of swirls and clouds. Naruto took everything he bought and went to his house. He is going to start a new life as a shinobi soon and wanted to be prepared for it. He had 2 weeks to train and is going to use them wisely. With his new knowledge of shadow clones and how to use them, he started his preparation for whatever the shinobi world had to offer him. First, he made 6 of shadow clones and ordered them to go through all his 6 years of academy books. He went to the library himself. As he is a shinobi now, the librarian can't restrict him from coming as he can complain to Hokage about it. After showing his headband, Naruto was allowed access to the shinobi section. He sat there and thought of reading about clans first to learn more about them. Naruto read all the clans of Konoha. He also learned more about the founding clans, the Senju and the Uchiha. Naruto knew a small bit about them from his academy. Now he learned more about them like history and rivalry and their fame. The Senju clan had Senju Hashirama, the Shodai Hokage and the first shinobi no Kami. The Uchiha clan had Uchiha Madara, the opposite of Hashirama and was a traitor. Senju clan members were told to have strong bodies, and Mokuton is an exclusive for the Shodai as none of the other members showed an affinity for it. He read about the Keke Genkai of the Uchiha clan as well. The Sharingan. A memory came to him at that. The note he read was written by Tobirama Senju about the Uchiha clan. He felt pain in his eyes, as it also reminded the despair he felt when Mizuki told him about the Kyuubi. Naruto couldn't bear it and immediately ran to his house to rest. He sighed in relief after locking the door and went to bathe. He cleaned himself and looked at his image in the mirror. He froze seeing the reflection. In front of him stood Uzumaki Naruto, tan skin, blonde hair with 6 whisker marks, but instead of cerulean blue, blood-red eyes with 2 black tomos in one eye and 1 tomo in the other stared back at him. Naruto knew this to be the pattern of the famous Sharingan, as it is depicted as a red eye with 3 tomos in general. He just read about it in the library. Naruto couldn't believe it. How is this possible? Was one of my parents an Uchiha? Then why did they not adopt me? Naruto thought. He can guess it will be something related to the fox that made him not adoptable. After thinking about this for a few minutes his mind fell into thinking. Think Naruto, think. Thinking about how I got this is useless as Jiji won't tell me about my parents till I make Chunin. I should think of all the benefits I get with it. What is the book told about Sharingan? Let's see. The Sharingan grants the user 2 broad abilities. The Eye of Insight and the Eye of Hypnotism. Eye of Insight, a user can see chakra, giving it color to distinguish it by its composition and source. Though not as capable in this regard as the Byakugan, the user is granted incredible clarity of perception, enabling them to read lips or mimic something like pencil movements. They can anticipate an opponent's next move based on the slightest muscle tension in their body and act accordingly to dodge or intercept. They can also read the enemy's hand seals to give them an insight into the performed technique's nature, regardless of the speed of performance. The user can copy almost any jutsu they see, memorizing ninjutsu, jinjutsu, and taijutsu with near-perfect accuracy. They can mimic everything they see. Eye of Hypnotism, the user can perform what is generically called jinjutsu through eye contact, suggest thoughts and actions to a target, coercing them to divulge information or act in a particular way, potentially without the target's awareness. The Uchiha are particularly infamous for using this ability. Multiple targets can be taken control of in this way, though the more divided the user's attention is, the easier it is for targets to escape this control. Note: this information is subject to personal discretion as it is collected from the information collected from many non-Uchiha and people who face the Uchiha clan. Please be cautious as some information about might not be true entirely. Recalled Naruto, and he got a shit-eating grin. This would make things easier for him. With his clones, he already went through the first 2 years of academy subjects which are just mathematics and general knowledge. But the addition of Sharingan to the mix, things are going to pick speed. He asked his clones to channel chakra to their eyes, and they also got 2 in 1 tomo Sharingan in their eyes, and shouted in joy. He calmed them down and gave new orders. Boys, take all the books Jiji gave and do as it instructed. If it is a jutsu, copy it with Sharingan and try it. If it is anything else like writing practice or theory, copy the strokes and make more shadow clones, and dispel them to pass the knowledge to all. I'm going to study some more about clans and their techniques in general in the library, and dispel them in batches. 2 clones for 5 minutes he ordered, and all of them chorused hi and Naruto left to the library in high spirits. He went to Ichiraku Ramen and had his lunch there and went to the library. He wants to know any techniques which are specific to the Uchiha clan, and how can he be an Uchiha, if it is possible. Maybe if I improve myself and help the village more, people may recognize me. Naruto thought hopefully and moved towards the library. Though he knew it is not going to be easy, he hoped. His change of clothing helped him a lot. Because of not wearing any orange, people thought him to be a new person and did not recognize him at all. Scene break. 2 weeks went by peacefully and Naruto improved by leaps and bounds. In just 14 days he did months worth of reading and exercise with his clones. He completed all his academy materials and went to the academy library for more. He was only given access to the basic jutsu being a genin, and Naruto found a jackpot there. He found 4 jutsu scrolls there, which were unused as they were open without a care on a table, and Naruto copied them without hesitation. One of them explained about chakra control and about tree climbing exercises, and another about water walking exercises, which were advanced chakra control exercises according to the scrolls. He practiced them with another 5 clones every day and managed to master tree climbing for 4 days perfectly. He can now walk on trees like on land. Naruto took 7 days to master the water walking exercise fully, and he managed to add 5 more clones to it. He practiced it in the Naka River outside the village to keep it a secret. He can now simultaneously run on water and concentrate on throwing shuriken. He was successful in his tried and tested with Suiton. Suiton no jutsu, water style. Water bullets on himself while water walking to see his proficiency and managed to keep his spot on water without drowning. The water jutsu was in the 3rd scroll in addition to the chakra control exercises. He practiced the exercises to better control his massive chakra reserves. He can stand on trees and water with minimal chakra expenditures compared to his previous control now. The last jutsu he learned was called Shunshin no Jutsu. Shunshin no Jutsu, body flicker technique. Classification: Ninjutsu, general skill. Rank: D rank. Class supplementary. Hand seals. Tiger. Description. The Shunshin no Jutsu body flicker technique is a high-speed movement technique used by shinobi to go from one place to another. This is done by enveloping one body in chakra and imagining the place to go. This is done in different forms. The general form used in Konoha is leaf Shunshin, where a whirlwind of leaves will form where the user appears. Every elemental nation has its unique type of Shunshin. Naruto learned and started his practice. As the days passed, his control on shadow clone jutsu increased and he can now do 15 clones without any backlash on his mind. After practicing with his clones, he can use the Shunshin with just a poof of smoke. He liked the way his clones pop, so he applied this to the jutsu as well. That was a productive 2 weeks in Naruto's case. He learned new jutsus, improved his chakra control, started seals by practicing calligraphy, and completed his academy textbooks. He is ready for whatever the shinobi world throws at him. With confidence, he walked to the academy in his new attire, ready to face the shinobi world head-on. Gaining experience, Naruto was in high spirits when he reached the academy as he is an official shinobi of Konoha now. As he entered, everyone looked at him confidently. Naruto heard the students present take him for some new kid. He smiled to himself. So it worked. He thought as few recognized him while he was coming to the academy and others' curious looks confirmed it. He shrugged them off and sat at the back of the class, waiting for Iruka-sensei's arrival. After the initial shock wore off, everyone continued with their work. He just sat there thinking about the clones he left to continue his Fuinjutsu practice. The sealing art felt natural for him. At the rate of his practice, he knew he will perfect his calligraphy soon. Naruto sat reading about the sealing theory. For the class to start and to practice, he wanted to experiment in a secure place with no one disturbing. He stuck to reading for now. His dingy apartment doesn't fit the bill, as it is ready to blow up at moment's notice if he had one strong sneeze. He needs a place that serves as a good testing ground and if possible, a second home. With these thoughts in mind, Naruto continues his study about sealing from the books and the types of seals used in general. They are very interesting, to say the least. Exploding tags, flash tags and smoke bombs are a few applications of seals, and Naruto knew there can be so many more if one puts heart into it, and he already plans to. He read while waiting for Iruka to come and the class filled up. Shikamaru, heir to the famed Nara clan, well known for their intellectual minds, came and sat in the middle row with Choji, another clan heir of the Akamichi clan in tow. Naruto was friends with them in their early academy days. But it's been heard since Naruto taller to them like how they used it, other than the occasional greeting here and there. Naruto can see things that he couldn't before and pick subtle hints in the postures and demeanor of others. A great skill very important for his shinobi life ahead. Naruto noticed Shikamaru looking at him but didn't comment and lazily slept on his desk. While Choji started eating chips from a bag he got from somewhere. Soon others came which included Kiba, Hinata, Shino and finally Sasuke who sat in their seats while other civilian children came and sat in their places. Excited chatter grew in class as most arrived. Sasuke looked at Naruto with raised eyebrows, to which Naruto replied with his stare. An impromptu staring match started and ended with the Uchiha turning away with a HN and sitting in his brooding pose, both hands clasped near his mouth and looking somewhere out of the window. Naruto didn't care much about the Uchiha boy and continued his reading. But all of a sudden, the class started shaking as loud footsteps thumped outside and the door was flung open. "I came first," Ino exclaimed, gasping for breath. "What are you talking, pig? Didn't you see my foot stepped into the class first?" Sakura argued and they both had a catfight about it and came near Sasuke. "Tell her I'm first, Sasuke-kun," Ino asked a brooding Sasuke with a dreamy face. "You're right. Sasuke-kun knew I'm first and I'm going to sit beside him," Sakura proclaimed and sat beside the last Uchiha before Ino could retort. Sakura looked around as if to find something or someone and looked at Naruto. He didn't directly see her but observed from his peripherals. Not finding what she was looking for, she sat beside Sasuke and started asking him out and things she generally does. Ino went to Shikamaru and sat beside the sleeping Nara. Shikamaru cracked an eye open and saw her and closed it. The class was chatting animatedly when the door opened again and Iruka-sensei walked in with a stack of papers. "Hello class," he said with a smile, but none noticed or cared to listen to him and continued chatting. He got tick marks on his head and shouted with his patented big head jutsu. "Shut up, you brats," he yelled and the class calmed down. "Good morning class," he said cheerfully again. "Good morning, Iruka-sensei," we all chorused. He started the class by taking roll calls. As the names went by, Naruto's turn came. "Uzumaki Naruto." "Hi, sensei," said Naruto with his hand up and everyone turned to him, shocked. Shikamaru shrugged as if he knew and continued to sleep. But others were still glued to him, even Iruka. Kiba tried to say something, but words stuck in his mouth as he saw Naruto in his new attire looking professional, which is far cry from his appearance, and Iruka-sensei spoke before him. "Naruto, nice outfit by the way," Haruka complimented, unable to say anything else. Naruto acknowledged with a small smile and Haruka continued the roll call. After roll call was completed, he took another sheet of paper. "Now, students. I'm happy that you all passed your graduation exam. I'm proud of you all. From this day forth, you will be starting your shinobi career. I suggest you keep everything you learned in the academy in mind and improve yourself to be more skilled as you move forward. Remember, teamwork is key to success and one of the fundamental traits of a Konoha shinobi. I won't hold you any further. I'll announce the teams assigned by Hokage-sama and if you have any problem, you can talk to him," he said, and everyone nodded. Team 1 will be Haruka started and Naruto ignored, thinking about the team he will be assigned to. Meanwhile, Hokage office, Hokage tower are all present. Asked the Sandaime to the Jounin who agreed to be sensei this year. Everyone knew one was missing. Disregarding that, he continued. "My dear Jounin, you are the few that have come forward to take a genin team this year. Do your best to train them. I think I don't need to lecture you about how to be in a tea." He was interrupted by a puff of smoke. "I'm sorry, Hokage-sama, a black cat came in my way when I was coming here. So I have to take a long way around," said a silver-haired man. The Hokage sighed. "Remember, these children are the future of our village and shinobi force. All the teams have been assigned with due considerations, so there won't be many changes in them. If you have any objections, send them to me. And you know the drill." Dismissed, the Sandaime commanded and all of them left the room, including Kakashi, who didn't even get acknowledged. Academy classroom. Team 7 will be Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto, and your sensei will be Hada Kakashi, announced Haruka. When the first two names came, Sakura screeched in joy, and when the last name came, she yelled in horror. Sasuke and Naruto had a staring contest again, with none saying anything. Sasuke turned away with a typical Uchiha HN again, and Naruto didn't respond. I don't know what happened to me, but I can think properly without any shouts or yelling and proclamations about being Hokage. I don't even feel anything even though I'm on the same team as Sakura. It awakening my Sharingan changed me this much as a person. Instead of a knucklehead, loud obnoxious idiot, I'm calm, collected, can think well and can observe small details as well. I think I should continue the act sometime to not raise any suspicion. But this is nice. Something in me changed on that day. I can't help but see everything clearly now. The interesting team though. Rookie of the year, Kunoichi of the year and dead last, at least to them. I'll see how it works, thought Naruto to himself, but gave a small smile outside instead of exclaiming loudly. Everyone was stunned because of his reaction or lack thereof. This is very new to them. Quite Naruto and some took it as a bad omen. Okay, class. Your sensei will be here to take you after lunch. You have 2 hours to prepare. You should be here by 1 p.m. Haruka said happily and everyone nodded. Again, congratulations on graduating from the academy, class. I wish you all best of luck in your shinobi careers, he said, and the class cheered. After Haruka's goodbye, Naruto left to eat. Sakura expected Naruto to ask her out on a date or eat together and the like, but the blonde walked out of the class without saying anything. Few hours later, academy. After eating lunch, Naruto went to his apartment to see the progress made by his clones in Jutsu. He saw them still reading the books given by his Jiji and nodded. He didn't expect them to be done by one, as the books given by his Jiji were large and written by the Uzumaki clan, his clan. After reading Nidaime's note, Naruto understood that there is a real clan with the name of Uzumaki. That gave him bug relief as he thought himself to be a no-name nobody. Though he doesn't know who his parents are, he is happy enough to know he had a clan. As he continued reading, the books increased in size by at least 100 pages from volume to volume. He sat on the couch and thought about the things he learned from his academy books. The books stressed basic Academy 3 jutsus and covered geography and general maps and terrains of all major villages and their current cages. They greatly covered history, greatness and all victories of Konoha in the last 3 shinobi wars. They also, of course, portrayed Konoha as the epitome of goodness and power and the strongest hidden village in the world. But because of his first-hand experience with the truths of his village, Naruto knew what Konoha really is. He also learned about Jinjutsu theory and Iryujutsu theory, though they were covered in his curriculum. Both branches require refined chakra control to use, and then the deterrent for him, people with large chakra reserves can't escape any Jinjutsu easily. Naruto got an idea and looked at the clock to see he still had an hour to go or just send a clone there if need be. He opted for the second option and sent a clone there ahead of time. He then enacted his plan by creating 5 clones, in addition to the ones already there with orders given. All their eyes morphed into red eyes with 2 black tomos in one and 1 black tomo in the other. They look frightening, yes. But it didn't faze Naruto. With the basics already complete, he stared straight into one of his clone's eyes and others followed his lead, dividing into pairs. Sharingan. Jinjutsu, whispered Naruto. And the clones chorused. They all felt different sensations. First was the feeling of foreign chakra entering their system, understood because of the improved chakra control. Though the chakra belongs to the original, all the experimental clones felt it to be foreign. Did it work? Asked one clone. Let's try, said another. They made their subjects do various things. One to dance, one to roll, one to walk on toes and so on. After getting enough evidence, they broke the genjutsu and ordered to repeat it, but roles reversed. Before that, all the victim clones were dispelled to give their knowledge to the original and other clones, and the experience was surreal. By this point, Naruto got accustomed to 10 clones dispelling at once and all the information they brought with it. So after half of recovering, they continued. The casters become the victims now and Naruto experienced being locked in a genjutsu for the first time. The experience his clones provided proved invaluable now. He knew what to expect in a typical genjutsu now and tried to escape it by the traditional ways. After many times of practice with his 20 clones, he mastered breaking genjutsu. He did it in 2 ways. The first is to cause physical pain, which his clones did first when their brain cells were assumed to be dead due to the genjutsu. After he shouted at their dumbness, they tried it by simply activating their Sharingan, and that broke the genjutsu easily. He thought of covering his eyes with a genjutsu so that his eyes won't be red with tomos when he used the Sharingan, but it is not easy as said. So Naruto opted for contacts, for the time being, a way to change someone's eye color, and is generally used to better vision by shinobi as glasses can become a hassle in some scenarios. He was successful in that endeavor and found a shop in the village that agreed to do contacts for him, and Naruto asked them to be Yandame's eye color, which is close, almost similar to his shade of blue. The owner was super happy to help him as he thought Naruto's henge to be another Yandame fan. The contacts fit him perfectly as they are not for any sight, they were immediately prepared. Naruto tested them. They work perfectly well. When he activated his Sharingan, everything can be seen in blue now, unlike where he can clearly distinguish chakra color. He observed his eyes in the mirror and saw them to be his usual cerulean and nodded in satisfaction. While Naruto was progressing in his genjutsu skills and finding ways to improve, his team meeting went without a hitch. Few hours prior, academy classroom, lone Naruto entered the empty class as he was early. He sat at the same corner and took out a book on jutsu theory, which is used to create new jutsu he got from the library. This is a book available in the shinobi section and is within his access limit. It mainly consists of steps to create a jutsu and what aspects should it have in general. For example, if it is an ninjutsu type, it should have hand seals, chakra manipulation, chakra nature, chakra molding and chakra amount, and then comes the jutsu rank. The rank generally depends upon the jutsu damage to enemies or surroundings, and also self-damage if any caused. The clone was deep in his reading when he heard a boisterous laugh and turned to see Kiba coming in. He kept his book in his pocket and prepared for the upcoming provocation. Yeah, you think so? Kiba asked Shikamaru, who is looking at the ceiling lazily and picking his ear. Yeah, he responded and stopped when he noticed the clone's presence. Troublesome, he muttered under his breath and went to his seat and slept. The rest of the group saw Naruto and came near him. The group consists of Kiba, Shino, Choji, Ino and Sakura. They all came near his seat and surrounded him. Hey, Naruto, what is with the change of clothes? Kiba asked loudly. They all are in their normal academy uniform. Naruto didn't care much about them to observe any difference. You idiot, ask him about how he graduated. I remember him failing then. Sakura exclaimed and Ino nodded vigorously. Yeah, how and when did you graduate, Naruto? Kiba asked curiously, and the clone observed everyone's interest in the topic as they moved closer to him, and even a sleeping Shikamaru cracked an eye open. Well, he started and gave a dramatic pause. Everyone inched even closer at this. Because I'm awesome. He exclaimed and everyone stumbled and fell upon each other in a big human mess. Shikamaru also fell from his seat. Haha, laughed the blonde. You built up all that suspense and made us fools, said Kiba rubbing his bum. Akamaru barked in agreement. You should learn how to treat a young lady, Naruto, said Ino, who fell on Sakura, who got a tick mark and pushed her up. She was about to hit Naruto when he just moved back and she fell again. I guess, Ino. But I don't have any beautiful young lady like you near me to teach me, he said and winked at her. Ino rubbed her eyes and took a double take. She can't believe that Naruto of all people is talking to her like this. In his new clothes, he looked somewhat cool, but not as cool as her precious Asukan, of course. But handsome nonetheless. She blushed and went back to Shikamaru and Choji, who left the group when he saw them fall. You're right. As if you are awesome, said Kiba. Naruto just shrugged as they went back to their seats, uninterested in the blonde's dramatic change. The clone sat patiently and saw every team going out with their sensei. He made a note of observing both Sakura and Sasuke in the meantime. And 2 hours passed since everyone left. Sakura was getting more and more desperate and started walking around the class fuming while Sasuke was brooding in the same corner. He continued reading his book. After 1 more hour, Sakura was shouting profanities and Sasuke was glaring at the door. He thought of all the possibilities for a jounin to be this late and waited for the man to come to make his judgment. The door to the room opened and in came a silver-haired man. "My first opinion of your group is you are all a bunch of idiots," he said, and everyone paused for a bit to take what he said, and Sakura's anger came full force. "You're late," she shouted like a banshee. The man picked his ear up and replied. "Well, I got lost in the road of life," he said calmly, and they there fell from their seats after hearing that. The clone nearly popped at that. "Yes, it is decided. This guy won't train me or the boss. Better to self-study instead of wasting time waiting for him," he mentally decided and listened to the man's instructions. "Meet me in 5 minutes on the roof," and he poofed out of existence. Naruto's clone rose an eyebrow. Did he just use Kage Bunshin no jutsu? He thought and went up with the rest of the group. The man sat at the edge of the railing, reading a small orange book titled Icha Paradise. Naruto knew that book. He made his Warak no Jutsu sexy jutsu, based on the reference from the book. He is reading porn in public and in front of children nonetheless. He is going to be an ideal sensei for sure, he smirked internally observing Kakashi's habits. They settled as the man closed his book. Naruto sat to the left, while Sasuke sat beside him and Sakura beside Sasuke. They all looked at him expectantly. "Well, introduce yourselves," he said plainly. "What do you mean, sensei?" Sakura asked in confusion. "Didn't he read their files when he was assigned the team?" "Well, tell me your likes, dislikes, hobbies and goals or dreams for the future," he elaborated in a bored tone. "Why don't you show us how," suggested Sakura, and he gave her an unimpressed answer anyway. "Me? My name is Hada Kakashi. My likes are not for children, my dislikes are none of your business, and dreams for the future, never thought about it," he said with an eye smile with his single visible eye, forming a U-shape. "He just told us his name." "It's clear he is insane," concluded the clone. "That's useless." "He just told us his name," murmured Sakura, and he and Sasuke nodded in agreement. "Now you, Pinky. Tell us about your likes, dislikes, goals or dreams for the future," he pointed, and Sakura started. "Well, my likes are," she stared at Sasuke and giggled. "My dislikes are Ino pig pestering and Naruto asking for dates," she proclaimed. "My dreams for the future are," she again stared at Sasuke and giggles to herself. Naruto's clone and Kakashi had the same thought. "Yep, definitely, a fangirl." Sasuke sweat dropped at her explanation. "She just stared at me," giggled. He shouted in his mind but kept his cool composure. "Now you, duck-ass haircut," said Kakashi and Sasuke's eye twitched at that. What is this idiot thinking about him? Uchiha Sasuke, is an elite, he thought fuming. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I dislike things more than I like them. My dreams for the future are no, I'll make it a reality is to kill a certain someone and rebuild my clan, he said neutrally with his hands on his mouth. Great, I got an Avenger, thought Kakashi. Naruto's clone didn't say anything but observed and kept his thoughts to himself. Now you, Blondie. Yes, thank you Scarecrow, rebuked Naruto, and Kakashi's lone eye widened at that. My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I like ramen. I hate the 3 minutes it takes to cook ramen and my dream is to become the Hokage. He proclaimed loudly to the heavens. If they accept me, he thought to himself. And a hyperactive loudmouth. Great, thought Kakashi to himself. He forgot the comment Naruto made on him, drowning in sadness. Okay, team. Tomorrow we are going to do survival training. Come to training ground 7 at 5 AM sharp and remember, don't eat or you will puke, he said and vanished in another puff of smoke. The three of them grumbled about lazy sensei and started leaving. Sasuke left while Sakura followed him. He just dispelled, relaying all the information to the original. Naruto's residence. Naruto was practicing how to cast Jinjutsu with Sharingan when the memories of his clone hit him. His concentration lapsed and the Jinjutsu dispelled. All the clones were looking at him after receiving and going through the memories themselves. Looks like we have an interesting team, boys. A scarecrow, a fangirl and an avenger. Interesting indeed. We'll start our seals practice from tomorrow. We will go out to find a place somewhere outside the village which is secure enough for us to practice our seals. I don't want to be held back by his lackadaisical nature. Understood? He asked and the clones nodded. And be discreet and make sure to not garner any attention. He added and got a collective high. They practiced for a few more hours and after completing the practice for the day, Naruto dispelled them and went out to have dinner at Ichiraku's. After eating dinner at Ichiraku's, Naruto enacted his search by merging himself with shadows with black clothes. He wore a black shirt with black pants and bought a black mask to cover his face like his new sensei. He is an inspiration in that if Naruto had to say. He used Sunshine to the forest outside of Konoha. In a few minutes, he reached the outer wall of Konoha and jumped over it and made it into the large forests of Konoha. He made 20 clones to search and they all disappeared. They all activated their Sharingan to search for any chakra trace. Though such massive use of Sharingan costs lots of chakra, Naruto had enough to back it up and they used that to their advantage. They are searching for chakra trace to find a building that is chakra restricted so that all the activity he does with destructive seals and future practice won't be sensed or heard. They searched for hours and decided to rest when a clone found a ruined building protected by some kind of barrier and dispelled itself to transfer the information. Getting its memories, all clones and the original came there using Shunshin and inspected the building. The first thing Naruto's eyes showed him was a broken swirl symbol on the ruined building. It was made of dark brown wood with a swirl engraved in it. He can see the huge amounts of chakra inside from the broken door and cautiously went near it. Okay, boys. Looks like some kind of warehouse. It has large amounts of chakra in addition to the barrier. I want one of you to go in and check for any traps, ordered the original, and 5 clones went in to investigate. Though the building had his clan symbol, it's better safe than to be sorry. So Naruto decided to test everything before going in himself. As the clones moved in, they noticed how ruined the building was. Ruined because of time and lack of proper care. They can see so many cracks and broken at some places. They moved to a place where the highest concentration of chakra is and noticed the lack of traps. On their way, they passed an enclosure like a place where there are many masks. Seeing that there are no traps, one of them dispelled, giving the original green signal to enter, and Naruto entered without delay. He also saw the masks, but since he didn't know what they are, he moved to the room where his clones are. He saw the biggest seal he ever saw there, which in his life is not that much as he came to know about seals just a few weeks ago. From what he learnt in the books and theory, they are preservative seals, cleaning and conditioning seals, intertwined with strengthening seals and blood seals from his best guess. Not that he can understand whatever is written in them, he just know basics and from basics, he can understand that much. He scanned it closer and bit his finger and spread his blood across the matrix to assess the reaction. The matrix glowed a faint blue, showing the seal's absorption of his chakra and blood, and the building rocked, giving them access to another path as the floor split. Naruto saw a long corridor with softly glowing lights produced by flickering torches. He moved in with his clones guarding his back. They moved into a large room. There are doors lined up. Each one of them is well maintained and clean. Curious about the rooms, he went in to see what was in the rooms and was surprised by the contents in them. The first room is set up to mirror a large training ground. It is nearly 500 meters large with lighting coming from somewhere. It also has so many stances, katas and poses painted on all of it. In the middle of the room was a big red swirl which is nearly 10 meters long across the surface and the ceiling. He can see seals on it as well. He moved to the second room, which is a large library. Large in the very meaning. It seems endless to his eyes, even with his Sharingan. There are books on different things. Ninjutsu, Jinjutsu, Fuinjutsu, Kinjutsu, Juinjutsu, Gyukijutsu, Iryo Ninjutsu and so on. But most belong to Fuinjutsu and its types. There are other books like history, Yuzushi Agakure uniforms and maps of different nations. The uniform of Yuzashio Genin is just like his. Light blue shirt with a black undershirt and grey pants. With the headband of Yuzashio on their forehead protector, which is a swirl. The name Yuzashio was on everything in the room as if it is another ninja village, and Naruto decided to investigate further about it and moved to the third room, which can be assumed as an armory. There are lots and lots of weapons in it. Like in thousands which consist of shuriken, kunai, smoke bombs, flash tags, explosive tags etc. They are sharp as well, with no wear and tear like his normal kunai as if polished recently, and Naruto also saw many swords and books on different kinjutsu styles. He noticed a missing sword in its display to the side and moved closer. The design of the imprint is something he felt familiar with. He took his katana and put it on the designed imprint. There was the sound of something unlocking as a drop of his blood was taken from the hilt of the sword. He can see bluish-green chakra enter his sword as it fits in the imprint. He saw the outline of a woman form in it. He can feel her and her connection to him. It is not fully sentient to talk, but he can feel her emotions, and he assumed it is vice versa. Love, acceptance and joy were her emotions. She loves him and is happy he loves her by the simple act of carrying her around as seals started to form on her. He doesn't know what they meant, but from what he can read, the kanji read protection, power and some other seals formed on her. In a puff of smoke, a scroll appeared in front of him. Naruto took the scroll and opened it to read. To the prince, this scroll explains about the katana which was left for the prince of the Uzumaki clan as an heirloom. Dear prince, the katana, Mayuri, is an heirloom given to you in this moment of our extinction. In the Second Great Shinobi War, the combined forces of Iwa, Kumo and Kiri have attacked us and our numbers are decreasing fastly. Princess Kushina, the heiress of the clan was sent to Konoha to be the next Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi just a week ago. We have sent for help, but I think the situation is not favorable for Konoha to send any help. This scroll is sent to the Uzumaki clan compound in Konoha. Mayuri is made especially for you, dear prince, and we at the Yuzashio hope that she suits you well. We made this especially for you because Princess Kushina is not going to marry an Uzumaki, and one of our elders foresaw about a young child of Uzumaki heritage suffering in his earlier years. Mayuri won't work for anyone other than you, young prince. She has some seals to identify you and some other special seals to make her different from others. We hope this will change things for the better for you, dear prince. Regards, proud clansman of Uzushi Agakure. Naruto reread the letter many times. His clan people had given him something in their memory. He felt elated and happy at that, and they also told him his mother's name. Uzumaki Kushina. He is going to search for her and know who his parents are. He took the katana and looked it over. She is beautiful after getting new seals. Mayuri, what a beautiful name. I think it means true friend, he thought to himself and rubbed her. He had a connection to his clan and a friend now. His heart danced in joy at that. A friend. He always wanted a friend. But now, he got a real friend. He took the scroll and pocketed it and moved to the next door, pushing through his emotions after reading the heartwarming letter. He moved into the fourth room, which turned out to be a living area with further doors inside. He just looked at the door and didn't go any further and went to the next room. The fifth room is some kind of spa and had a hot spring in it and with so many shower heads. So, this is common pool, he thought, and moved to the next room. The sixth room consists of different beds and lots of spirit smells. He thought it to be a hospital wing and moved on. The seventh room is a dojo and had mats in it with stands. The eighth room is a storeroom. It has probably tons of wood, bricks, cement etc. materials which are used in construction and other equipment like wires, sinks etc. It's a large godown of many things. Naruto moved into the library as he is most interested in it and read through all the books and took books relating to Fuinjutsu. 20 clones went to the training ground to practice seals as they are itching to practice after reading all the theories. After going through all the taijutsu styles, he picked one which he liked most and sent another 20 clones to practice it. The taijutsu style he picked and liked the most was the Wind God style or Fujinkan. The style mainly depends upon the flow and flexibility of the body like wind. He didn't know why he liked the name and the style, but it has a nice ring to it and he is going to master it. He knew well that his taijutsu sucks. Naruto made a total of 50 clones. 20 on Fuinjutsu practice, 20 on taijutsu practice, while the other 10 went through all E, D and C rank ninjutsu scrolls in the library. Naruto decided to amass knowledge first and practice later when he is free. The night went by as the original reached his residence by 11 in the night and slept with so many emotions. He discovered what can be seen as his clan's estate in Konoha, which suggests a presence of past members' residence in the village, and found about his clan, sword and most of all, his mother. Uzumaki Kushina, what a beautiful name. If only I can meet you, Kachan was Naruto's last thought before sleeping. Next morning, Naruto's house. Naruto woke up at 5 in the morning. He thought of going to the training ground, but after listening to the reason his sensei gave them about his late arrival, he thought the better of it. He decided to go around 9, if Kakashi came early, he is going to find Naruto at his house, but he is not going early and wasting his time waiting for the tardy man's arrival. Naruto went through his newly created daily exercises which included push-ups, pull-ups and laps around an empty training ground. His clones were already dispelled in the morning, and he sent a fresh batch of 50 clones to his clan's estate. After completing his exercises, Naruto went to the supermarket under Henge and bought some fresh vegetables for his breakfast with some bacon and toast. His hunger was legendary after all and everything he ate will disgust fast. He started eating vegetables as it was mentioned in a book about the requirements of young shinobi or kunoichi in general. The most stressed part is about protein and nutritious food as the young shinobi go through many activities in a day as well, which makes them burn lots of calories. So heavy meals with nutritious vegetables are recommended. Naruto followed the suggestion and started eating vegetables after his graduation. He aims to grow taller this year as he is the shortest in his class. He ate and started reading the book on jutsu creation where his clone left yesterday. He waited for the arrival of Kakashi or any of his teammates to check up on him and as he expected none came, which means Kakashi didn't come yet. As the clock struck 9, he walked at a sedate pace to the training ground 7. He reached after 20 minutes of walking and saw 2 angry teammates. Sakura was walking angrily while Sasuke looked ready to explode. Naruto brought some exploding tags and flash tags with him from the Uzumaki estate weaponry to test. He is going to try them on Kakashi. Kakashi is going to be his guinea pig for this test. He saw his 2 teammates staring murderously at him, much less in the case of Sasuke. "Hello, how are you doing?" he asked cheerfully. Sakura got tick marks and Sasuke's hand twitched as it reached to his kunai pouch. "You're late. You idiot." Sakura screamed. He felt as if his eardrums broke, but he got his senses back after a second back and took earplugs out of his ears. "Well, they are useful and no, I'm not late, Sakura," Naruto told her, the cheeriness in his tone decreasing. He bought earplugs for this purpose. He knew she is going to shout at him. Sasuke was nearly 20 feet away and is sitting in a tree, so he escaped the full brunt of it. While Naruto is just 15 feet away from her, Sakura tried to hit Naruto, unsatisfied with his escape from her shout. But Naruto is not going to take everything she does laying down and step aside. Sakura lost momentum and fell. "I think you should see where you are going, Sakura," he said and made no effort to lift her. She stood up with a shocked expression but came out of her stupor quickly. "How are you not late?" she asked impatiently. "It's simple really. Sensei didn't come yet. I came before him. If he can come whenever he wants while telling us to come early, why should I? I thought both of you are smart enough to understand that." "Again, considering the circumstances it doesn't look like it," Naruto explained. Both Sakura and Sasuke had the expression of a deer caught in headlights. Their mouths were agape looking at Naruto like he was an alien. Sasuke quickly recovered and came with a counter. "We came early to discuss the strategy, Dobe, and you're late," he said in the Uchiha superiority tone. This irked Naruto. After awakening his Sharingan, he can't take people talking to him as if they were superior to him, unlike his dumb counterpart who doesn't even care about the tone or body language. "Well then, tell me what you are strategizing about. Tell me the plan and I'll add my input," Naruto countered, and that shut the Uchiha's mouth up. Naruto smirked. "Nothing? Then let me tell you the strategy. Konoha is famous for her teamwork which is promoted in her shinobi forces. I think the test that Scarecrow is going to give us is something relating to teamwork. So if we work together, we'll definitely make a good impression," Naruto said with confidence and got the feeling of being stared at like an alien. "Who are you? What have you done to Naruto?" Sakura screamed, pointing an accusatory finger at Naruto. According to her, this person in front of her is not Naruto. Maybe Sasuke-kun changed himself into Naruto to give him a chance, she thought, and inner Sakura agreed by screaming. Shanro Sasuke was also taken aback by this level of intelligence. He just shrugged. He doesn't care whatever they think. "They are going to drag me down. I just want to complete this and go train. I must kill him." He concluded and nodded his at Naruto, and seeing Sasuke nod, Sakura reluctantly nodded. Another half an hour has passed when Kakashi came in a puff of smoke. "Yo," he greeted them cheerfully. Sakura usually screamed that he is late and he gave the excuse of a black cat and they settled in. "Are you ready for the survival exercise?" he asked and all nodded. He took out 2 bells from his pocket. "Your task is simple. You should take these bells from me," he said, and they stared at the 2 bells and Naruto questioned the obvious. "But sensei, there are only 2 bells and 3 of us, correct, my blonde student? That is the test here. Only 2 of you will pass this test and the one left will be sent back to the academy," he said with an eye smile, and he got the expected shock from his 3 cute students. "And oh, I forgot to tell. These tests have a 66% fail rate. That means out of 9 teams that graduated from the academy, only 3 teams will pass and 1 of you will be sent back to the academy either way. You have until noon to take these and the person who gets the bell eats," Kakashi said, pulling out a clock and putting it on a rock and 2 lunch boxes with it. "Don't forget to come at me with the intent to kill. Begin," he said and vanished. 3 of them dispersed in different directions. They know at least the basics," thought Kakashi as he took his favorite book and started reading, giggling perversely. Naruto played things through his head and found his theory to be correct. 3 genin, how hard they try cannot take a bell from a jounin. So he is testing our teamwork. Naruto smirked internally at his perfect analysis. He made a clone and sent it to distract Kakashi while he went to find his teammates. Activating Sharingan as he already had his contacts on, he saw a chakra signature in the bushes and went there while his clone distracted Kakashi. "Well, we have an early participant," said Kakashi and started defending himself. He was reading his book while defending against all the punches, kicks and other basic jutsu moves he is making. He is doing good, thought Kakashi, still reading his book while the real Naruto reached Sasuke. "Hey, Sasuke, down here," he called as he was lying on the ground below the bushes for cover. "Naruto? What are you doing here? Aren't you fighting Kakashi?" Sasuke asked, confused. "Yeah, that's a clone. I figured it out. As I told you, this is about our teamwork. Think Sasuke, 3 genin who are fresh out of the academy, cannot defeat an experienced jounin like Kakashi-sensei. So, we should work together and impress him to pass us," he said. Though Sasuke got angry that he, the Uchiha elite, couldn't figure it out, he didn't give it much thought as he has more important things than this team and agreed to join the blonde. "We'll find Sakura and fight together and complete this stupid test," he said, and Sasuke followed the intelligent blonde. He never thought a day that makes him follow the blonde of all people will come. Upon reaching the pink-haired girl, Naruto nudged Sasuke to explain things as she doesn't listen to him. Sakura agreed, thinking that her precious Sasuke-kun was genius, and they formed a strategy. "So what we do is attack as a team. No matter what he says, don't fall for him. We can pass this only if we do this as a team, Naruto explained confidently and got nods of acknowledgements from his teammates. Though Sakura admired Sasuke's cool demeanor, she heard what the blonde said and agreed with it as her Sasuke-kun agreed as well. Naruto was keenly observing Kakashi's every moment with his Sharingan searching for weaknesses. He saw Sasuke charging with a few of his clones and doing some hand signs, and the clone dispelled, relaying everything it learned to the original. Pain. Kakakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style. Fireball Jutsu, Gyuden. Datapa, Wind Style. Great breakthrough, shouted Sasuke and Naruto simultaneously. A large fireball fueled by a strong gust of wind mixed and ended up increasing the speed and intensity of the flame. Suiton. Suryudan no Jutsu, Water Style. Water Dragon Projectile Jutsu. The big water dragon rose from a nearby pond and clashed with a large wind-fueled fireball, and steam rose from the clash, blinding everyone with mist. Gyuden. Datapa, Wind Style. Great breakthrough, said Naruto and cleared the mist with another gust of wind. Everyone except Kakashi regained their vision. Kakashi was near Sakura performing hand signs. Naruto saw the change in her chakra and knew it to be some kind of genjutsu as she screamed. He went to her and released the genjutsu, pushing some of his chakra into her body, disrupting her chakra flow. She regained her consciousness and started looking around frantically. Sasuke-kun? She asked in hope. Sasuke is fine, Sakura. Now pick yourself and proceed with our plan, Naruto assured and saw her nod. He saw Sasuke being dragged to the ground and went to assist him. He pulled the Uchiha up. He is trickier than I thought, said Naruto and saw the Uchiha nod in agreement. I told Sakura and she went to enact our plan. Let's do this, Sasuke, and with a fist bump, both of them ran towards their sensei. Naruto made 10 clones, and all of them with Sasuke jumped into the taijutsu combat with Kakashi. As there are many fighting with him, Kakashi had to abandon his book to not get hurt by the number of attacks sent towards him. They continued until Kakashi's full attention was on them. Sakura jumped towards his belt where the bells were. Kakashi saw this, but couldn't move as he was surrounded by Sasuke and Naruto's clones on all sides. Being a jounin, he was in similar situations a lot and he just performed the Kawarimi to escape the deadlock. The bell rang signifying the end of the time. Alright, time's up. You didn't get any bells though, he said, and all his students' mood soured. You pass, he said with an eye smile. He got 3 surprised looks at that and explained. Though you didn't get any bells, 3 genins, fresh out of the academy, are not a match for a jounin. But you have impressed me with your teamwork. Nice strategies by the way, Kakashi complimented and his 3 students smiled at him widely. Even Sasuke gave a small smile. Remember this, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. This is the rule I follow. I hope that you will take this to heart, Kakashi said sagely and got 2 nods. You are officially Team 7 now. Meet me at Hokage Tower tomorrow at 8 AM sharp, he said and vanished again. Naruto turned to his new teammates with a smile. Seems like we did it, he said cheerfully, but didn't get any enthusiasm in reply. Sasuke-kun's strategies are so great, said Sakura in a dreamy tone. Sasuke gave Naruto an appreciative nod before walking with his hands in his pockets. Sakura followed Sasuke as a lost puppy. Naruto simply left the training grounds to eat lunch at Ichiraku's and celebrate his official promotion. Scene break. After celebrating by eating even more miso ramen than usual, Naruto had a happy meal as Tuchi and Ayam put the bill on the house. A satisfied Naruto moved to Uzumaki estate for more practice. He saw his clones practicing and told them to dispel in batches and created 50 new clones. The new clones waited for all the dispelling done to gain the extra knowledge from their predecessors. After everything was settled, Naruto gave them new orders. Boys, we have our work cut out for us. Now, you will divide into batches of 5. Teams 1 to 10. Team 1 will concentrate on seals. Team 2 on ninjutsu. Team 3 on taijutsu. Team 4-5 on shuriken and kunai throwing while on trees and water walking. While Team 6-7 reads all the C and D jutsu scrolls from the library. Teams 8 and 9 will concentrate on the 2 techniques we have copied, fireball jutsu and water dragon projectile jutsu. Team 10 will follow me to practice kinjutsu. Is that clear? He asked and everyone nodded. Hi, boss, they chorused and Naruto led the Tai group to a small dojo, while the ninjutsu clones went to training grounds. He found multiple training grounds of different sizes on the floor and decided to use them. Though are not as big as the main one, others are at least 100 to 200 meters wide, enough for their practice. He started with the basic stance of the form written in the scroll with his clones following his lead. Scene break. A month later, Naruto's residence. The following month after their official appointment as Team 7 is not a memorable one for Naruto. But he didn't give a damn about the month. After the first day when they did D-rank missions of finding a useless cat named Tora, missing objects, painting fences etc., Naruto started using his clones. Naruto created a blood clone, the first one he had ever created and sent in his place, and while his clone took his place in his team, he practiced his taijutsu, ninjutsu, jinjutsu and fuinjutsu in the Uzumaki estate, far away from prying eyes of the village. Naruto started staying in the Uzumaki estate full-time as time passed and slept there at night. His skills skyrocketed because of this. His ninjutsu, which was subpar before, was now on the level of a mid to high Chunin. His jinjutsu was Chunin level as he still had so many to dispel and master. His taijutsu was the deadliest of them all. The Fuijinkan has suited him well. The taijutsu style revolves around covering his body in thin wind blades at all times. The user must be precise about any mistake as that may lead to cutting off a part of their own skin. The blades of wind would be circling him as a defense. He always has a thin layer of wind surrounding him which is created by his chakra or can be taken from the atmosphere around him. The taijutsu style has forced Naruto to take his wind elemental control exercises. While the first part of leaf cutting was easy, the second part was not. Naruto had to cut a waterfall, which is nowhere near his B residence. Even if he wants to practice at a nearby one, that draws a lot of attention, which Naruto want to avoid. So he went on an unofficial B rank mission to complete his exercise. When he went to scout for potential rumors, pieces fell in place and he heard about it in a shop while some jounin were talking. Flashback 20 days ago, Naruto was out in the village under a henge to find a mission and a waterfall nearby to complete his second level wind exercise. While he was crossing an alley, he heard something interesting. A conversation about some bandits among some jounin from their vest. It is a B rank mission that consists of a bandit camp raid and freeing the potential hostages. Naruto heard about how it was already assigned to a team and they will move out tomorrow evening. The mission was very appealing to him, as he can find a waterfall outside Konoha and practice there without disturbance. So he took it upon himself to do this mission, as it also helps him to test his skills in a real combat situation. Naruto stayed there and noted everything about the mission. The location of the bandit camp, the village which gave it and so on. The bandit camp was located in a nearby village which is 68 kilometers south of Konoha. The bandits were infamous and said to have raided so many villages and murdered innocent people. If there is one thing which his present and old self would agree, is killing innocent people for no reason. So he had decided to get rid of the scum from the world. Naruto also had another agenda in mind as he learnt an interesting fact about his clan. Luck. The Uzumaki clan's luck is said to be as legendary and as powerful as their skill in fuinjutsu. He is going to test it on a few gambling centers in the town after completing his self-appointed mission, other than practicing the second stage of wind element control and getting rid of bandits. That is also another reason why Naruto has decided to go out during midnight, as the chances of being detected or seen were very low. He is already out of the village in the Uzumaki estate and he had a blood clone in his apartment and a few in reserve in a scroll in the clone's pouch. He moved silently, merging in the shadows of the night and made to the nearest village to the camp after 2 hours of traveling. He created around 20 clones and spread them across the forest to search for the bandit camp. One of the clones found a camp nearly 7 kilometers to the northwest. Naruto silently moved in with his army of 10 clones, as the remaining were surrounding the camp from all sides. He scanned the area with his Sharingan for any guards and saw tents, around 10 of them with varying sizes and one large tent in the middle, with most people as it has the most security. Trigger warning. Behind that, at least 3 people are standing, 1 on the ground and 3 on them. He didn't know what they were doing and went close to observe. He also saw another large tent with more guarding after the first. He noted to attack those 2 places first. He went close to the people standing behind the tent. There he saw a scene that would scar him for life. A woman was on the ground, still with white liquid on the whole of her body and the men on her still pumping something. He saw red at that instant as his Sharingan started spinning wildly and 3 shurikens hit the 3 men in the neck, killing them instantly as they fell with a dull thud. Naruto went to check on the woman who had a horrified expression on her face and prayed for her soul to rest in peace after sensing no pulse. Tears leaked from his eyes at the cruel fate of the unknown woman. But he had to snuff them as he heard footsteps and hid in a nearby bush. His clones were going to put all tents on fire on his signal. The guard, whom Naruto assumed to be the one on duty, came to the murder side and saw 4 still bodies on the ground. He turned around to scream only to come face to face with the most terrifying red eyes he had ever seen in his life looking at him murderously. Sharingan. Jinjutsu, whispered Naruto, and he interrogated the guard about all the camp and their raids. After getting all the information, he slit the man's throat, killing him instantly. His mind is not as sane enough to understand what Naruto just did as all Naruto saw was red after seeing what happened to the woman. From what Naruto learned, there are 75 bandits not including the hostages and women they held. The largest tent to the side was the place where they all were held and the second large one was the leader's tent. The others were bandit quarters with all the loot they robbed being in the hostage tent. Naruto made a plan of action. He is going to burn all tents except the hostage one and kill all the bandits. After that, he is going to take all the hostages to the nearby village and drop them there without revealing his identity. He did as he planned. Most of the bandits were killed by the fire his clones created and the few escaped were dealt by his remaining clones. Screams echoed through all the clearing as the escaping bandits were killed swiftly and the ones being burnt alive are shouting in horror. Most of them were dealt with easily, but the leader is a slippery bastard and escaped with a water jutsu and Naruto started following him. "You damn dog," the leader yelled seeing Naruto's approach. "Who sent you?" "Konoha are the people whom I have warned," he asked as he stopped out of breath. "None. I'm here of my own volition," said Naruto coldly. His Sharingan eyes gazing into the brown of the man. As he removed his contacts after crossing Konoha. "Well, you are good. But that is not enough to defeat me. My name is Rotary Hikure. I'm a Chunin Nukenin from Kusa," Rotary proclaimed proudly. Naruto gazed at him coldly. Rotary had an expectant look on his face, as if asking Naruto to introduce himself. But Naruto just stared at him coldly. "Not a talkative one, I see. If you leave me, I'll tell you who they were and where they belong. You can go and save them and have all the loot we had," he said in a business tone, not noticing Naruto's Sharingan. "No. I know who they are and where they were from. I'm here to kill you and that's what I'll do," Naruto said. Rotary lately noticed the blood-red eyes with 2 and 3 black tomos spinning wildly in them. He felt fear of death for the first time in his life. He wanted to be anywhere but here. "Sharingan Jinjutsu. Death horror," said Naruto said and Rotary started screaming. After torturing the man for another 10 minutes, Naruto killed the man. After coming back from his adrenaline rush, Naruto was horrified at what he had done. He took solace in the fact of killing for a good cause as he saved many lives from this scum. When he got back, his clones released everyone and with the original, took all the hostages to the nearby town. He left them there with a note of who they were and where they are from. Flashback end. It took Naruto a few days to recover from his first kill trauma and after that, he went on with other things he had in mind and that trip turned out to be a great success. With a sigh, he moved to his bathroom to do his daily activities and prepare for the day. Their team were exhausted and on the verge of exploding now. Naruto is sure that Sakura and Sasuke are going to throw a temper tantrum and get them a higher ranked mission today. He can sense it. Naruto came from his bath and saw the pile of scrolls he had won from all the gambling centers. Flashback start. After dropping all the people in a nearby town, Naruto ventured to a famous gambling town nearby. He heard about this town from some people and decided to check in it. Naruto reached the town proper in 2 hours and took a room in an inn from the money he took from the loot he took from the bandits' raid as his mission payment and then some. The village is filled with medium to large-scale gambling shops which started with few thousand ryo and moved to millions of ryo in one sitting. He picked up the money pouch which had 150,000 ryo in it and entered a medium-scale one. Naruto changed his facial features to that of a mid-teenager to look a bit older and hid his headband for fun. He entered in only to be stopped by the outside guards. "Children are not allowed in," said one of the 2 large men. He raised an eyebrow and pointed to his headband and their eyes widened in realization. "We apologize, Shinobi-san. You can enter," the other said and he went in. He saw many mats with groups of people and large sums they are playing on display. He saw the lowest one was a 10,000 ryo and sat in that group. The person who is rolling the dice raised an eyebrow but after seeing his headband, he just shrugged off. A large man came out of the group and sat beside him. "The rules are simple, gentlemen. You will call CHM or Han and the winner gets the total amount. Are rules clear to you?" he asked and both of them nodded. He showed the dice to both of them and shuffled it so many times. Before the elder man could call, Naruto called, "Joe," and it was even. He won the round. He won that table to its cap of 50,000 ryo and went to the next table. This table had a limit of 50,000 to 250,000 ryo cap. He started and observed the dice being manipulated by the assistant, but Naruto won. He shuffled it again, but Naruto won again. He reached the cap quickly and moved to the last and final table, which has a cap of 1 million ryo. He played and observed the assistant officially manipulate the dice using a needle, but to test his luck, Naruto moved forward and his luck proved legendary. He won all games and won 1 million ryo. He played for 10 times straight and won 10 million ryo and some extra from his previous tables. He took all the moved and sealed them in the scrolls and tried to move out. The management was not happy with him and sent some thugs to bring back the money and he showed them the hard way that they shouldn't mess with Shinobi. He brought his winnings to his room and sealed them in his storage seals and bought a map to find a waterfall. After finding one nearby, he went on to his endeavor. He observed the flow and strength of the flow and after being satisfied and making sure anyone were near around, Naruto trained. Oten. Dorikeki, earth style. Earth wall, Naruto said, and a small meter-thick earth wall rose from both sides of the waterfalls and connected in the middle like a bridge. He walked on the bridge and stood on it and performed his favorite jutsu. Kage Bunshin no jutsu, and 50 clones came beside him and they started to channeling chakra into the waterfall. The goal of this exercise is to make the wind blades as sharp as imaginable so that his wind chakra cut the flow of water cleanly. The precision and sharpness to cut the flow of water need to be high. The intensity of his wind is high when compared to normal wind users for some reason. His normal D rank jutsu has the power of a low B rank jutsu. Naruto understood his affinity for wind is strong and his Taijutsu style is solely based on the wind itself. He started the gruesome exercise to cut the waterfall and it took him 15 days to cut it and 3 days to completely stop its flow. Satisfied with his progress in the exercise, a happy and noticeably richer Naruto came back to Konoha the next day. Flashback end. It has been a week since his arrival and his team with Blood Clone are still doing D rank missions with Kakashi. And the lazy man only training them in teamwork. Teamwork of all things. He knew teamwork is important and Konoha is known for that. But not teaching any chakra control exercises, no new jutsu or even spars with Naruto only sparring with his clones, is pushing dead end. The fact that Kakashi didn't even tell Sakura to stop being a fangirl is a surprise to Naruto. Kakashi comes late and just read that book and giggle like a schoolgirl to himself. Naruto is disappointed that a powerful and experienced shinobi like Kakashi would have something to teach them, at least that's what he had hoped when he was put on this team. Looks like his hopes are misplaced. But the man threw it all in the sewer with his behavior and tardiness and lame excuses. The original Naruto sighed to himself and left to the Hokage Tower, nearly 45 days after his team assignments and shinobi license registration. He hopes something different happens today and he does something serious for once. First wave, Hokage Tower. Naruto came to see both Sasuke and Sakura waiting for him, but didn't say a word as he reached them. They knew not to ask him, as whenever Sakura told him he was late, he would tell her how it is important for a shinobi to be diligent at all times and not waste time. They took his words to heart and adjusted to Kakashi's tardiness. They also started coming 2 hours late after Naruto's explanation every time. Their sensei didn't mind as he most probably didn't know they were coming late. Kakashi would come 2.5 hours late and they didn't complain. He would start something and they would simply follow his orders. And like that, the issue was settled in their team. Like always, Kakashi came in a puff of smoke. "Hello, my cute little students. How are you today?" he asked cheerfully with an eye smile. No one replied. He nodded happily as he took it as his students picking up his cool and hopeful attitude. "Good, you are learning something. Now let's move. I know you all are eager to take a mission," he smiled under his mask and the 4 of them moved into the Hokage Tower and went to the mission assignment room. Team 7 reporting for a mission, Hokage-sama, Kakashi said with a book salute. "Ah, yes. Team 7. Tell me which mission do you want?" "We have finding Tora, an old man's crop picking, cleaning kennels of Inuzuka clan," continued the Hokage about all the D-rank missions in the village. "Enough," shouted Sasuke in anger. "I'm an Uchiha, an elite. I don't want to do all those menial tasks anymore. I want a higher ranked mission," he exclaimed and everyone looked at him as if he was an alien. But understood his frustration. "Yes, I think we can take a higher ranked mission. Kakashi-sensei can vouch for that as he trained us well, don't you think, sensei?" Naruto asked with mirth. If Kakashi says no, then that means he agreed that he didn't train them, and if he says yes, even then the sarcasm in Naruto's tone would be understood by most of the people around. Kakashi opted neither. Yes of course. Hokage-sama, my team is ready to take a C-rank mission. They are doing great, he said neutrally, and Hokage chuckled and nodded. If you say so, Kakashi. Team 7, your first C-rank mission is to escort a bridge builder named Tazuna to his home country, Wave. You will escort him and will be with him until he finishes his bridge building there, said Hiruzen sternly. Team 7 straightened up when their Hokage started addressing them and nodded with an eye. The Sandaime nodded and gave a scroll to Kakashi, which has the mission details. But Hokage-sama, isn't it early to send them on a C-rank mission? An angry Iruka protested. He can't understand why they are doing this. Sending his students, who are fresh out of the academy as they graduated just 45 days ago, on a C-rank mission is not good. He can't allow this. They need more experience. Don't worry, Iruka, Kakashi is assuring about their skills and he will be there to guide and protect them if need be, Hiruzen assured. Though there is a hidden meaning to it. Iruka reluctantly nodded, understanding the hidden meaning and sat in his seat. Good. Bring Tazuna, Hiruzen ordered, and a Chunin went and brought an old drunk man with grey hair. He is a bespectacled man with a large grey beard and dark black eyes with light brown skin. He wore a sleeveless V-neck shirt with an obi, pants and a pair of sandals. He also had a white towel around his neck and had a pointed hat on his head. But his stinky booze smell started spreading through the room as he slowly walked to the Hokage. All members of Team 7 had different reactions. Naruto's nose crinkled at the smell. All his senses started sharpening due to all the training he did. He used a small wind jutsu to clear the scent from himself with a subtle wave of his hand. Sasuke and Sakura saw in disgust, while Kakashi didn't react to the man. The man stood to the side and looked at his escort team. "Ag, is this the team you have given me to take me back to my home? One is a cyclops, one had duck butt hair, a skinny girl thin as the wood I use and a." He stopped and looked at Naruto, who is 5'1", a bit taller than Sasuke with a small outline of muscles, standing to the other side of the team with raised eyebrows. "And another kid," he ended, unable to say anything else about Naruto. Naruto smirked at him. "Good," he had a brain to think, he thought with a satisfied smile. "Izuna-san, Kakashi is our top jounin, and his team is more than capable of fighting a few thugs and escorting you to your home," the Hokage said sternly. Izuna gulped but nodded as he couldn't say anything more. The Hokage is correct in assuming Team 7 is enough, as that is what was required according to the mission Izuna requested. But Izuna knew better. He knew that Team 7 will be enough even with the Cyclops helping them. But he didn't dare speak. "We will take our leave, Hokage-sama," Kakashi asked. "Team 7, good luck on your first C-rank job." "Dismissed," wished Hiruzen, dismissing them to prepare. "Okay, team, meet me at North Gate in 2 hours. Pack all the supplies with clothes for 15 days and other equipment you need." "Disperse," Kakashi said, and all of them went back to their residence to pack. Scene break. 4 hours later, North Gate, Konoha. As Izuna was waiting at the North Gate, he saw the duck butt boy and pinky girl walking towards him 4 hours after their last meeting. They are 2 hours late. He didn't talk with them about why they were late or anything, as he was nervous. He didn't tell everything to the Hokage about the mission, but he at least thought he would be given some adults. Instead of seeing it as a dangerous mission, the Hokage took it as just a C-rank mission and gave him Cyclops and a bunch of children. The two brats didn't talk to him. They just stood there as if knowing what was going to happen. He waited for another 45 minutes when the blonde kid came with a cheery smile, but didn't greet anyone. They just nodded to each other. After 15 more minutes of waiting, the Cyclops came in a puff of smoke. "Yo, did you pack for your first mission outside the village?" he asked with an eye smile. "Hi, sensei," all the children nodded. "Let me check." "Show me your supplies," Kakashi asked, and all of them showed their supplies. After thorough checking and assuring that everyone had sleeping bags, protein bars, chakra exhaustion pills, blood pills, food pills, 3 sets of shuriken, 3 sets of kunai and necessary clothes for 15 days, Kakashi approved and checked them out of the village with the gate guards, and they left Konoha. The gate guards greeted them with a successful mission before stamping their exit paper. It's the first time for Sasuke and Sakura and the second time for Naruto. Kakashi and Izuna had more experience in the outside world than their genin. The journey was boring, to say the least. Team 7 with Izuna were in a loose diamond formation, with Kakashi at the front, Sakura on the sides and Naruto on the rear. Kakashi as usual is studying his porn book and giggling occasionally. Naruto didn't find it interesting, but read all the books for the sake of knowledge anyway. The female anatomy was described very detailed in those books, and he read it as a part of training. But after reading those books, his raging hormones demanded a girlfriend effective immediately, but with the help of his ironclad will of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto suppressed the desire with no mercy. He had to admit it was a mistake. He doesn't want to have any girl in his class to be his girlfriend, as he saw firsthand how fangirlish they were. So he is waiting for a strong kunoichi to be his one true girlfriend. Though the idea of having a girlfriend eluded him, Naruto stood strong and decided to wait, as he have many things on his hands now. Keeping his urges aside, he is currently reading the book on intermediary seals volume 9. There are 15 volumes for intermediate level sealing, and he took it upon himself to complete them during this trip. This book discusses about the application of seals on various surfaces and other tracking seals, which can be applied without making them noticeable. Naruto read about making chakra into ink and is trying to master it. It would be a great boon if he masters it. Mastering his calligraphy gave him many advantages, and mastering chakra ink will give him even more. This book has the basics about it. No one is looking at him as he continued to blitz through the pages. He scanned everything with his Sharingan, with his contacts on. But when he looked at others, Naruto saw something under Kakashi's headband, which has a constant chakra flow into it. Naruto got curious but didn't ask. He is going to keep an eye on it. Sharingan has become his go-to tool when it comes to reading something or learning a new jutsu, as it gives him a greater advantage in learning it fast. Naruto made sure to not overly rely on it completely. He heard about not keeping all your eggs in the same basket. So he also trained in his senses and detection skills with clones. Sharingan is a useful tool, and he is going to use it as a tool. Naruto found a seal that can completely absorb the chakra within a target and tweaked it a bit and used it to seal his eyes to sharpen his other senses. He also kept a few of those seals in his spare. One chakra absorption seal can absorb or hold up to 3 times the amount of chakra he had. It's quite a sum considering his very large reserves. He didn't use them till now as he never ran out of chakra. He stored all this chakra when he was sleeping or practicing jutsu and had amassed quite a few of them and had a couple on him while the rest were in Uzumaki estate. The seals are special as Naruto found many applications of them. He is going to test them and see their effectiveness if possible in this mission. He was thinking of all the things he wanted to do on the trip when he was knocked out of his stupor when he saw a puddle of water and his Sharingan showed him something. One of the benefits of using Sharingan is that the user can identify genjutsu fast and dispel them. Naruto turned to Kakashi and saw his eye sharpen. His sensei gave him a subtle nod. Naruto understood. Kakashi is not going to interfere and they should fend off the idiots who chose to hide in a puddle on a bright sunny day. As they walked past the puddle the plan was enacted. The two figures attacked Kakashi and Naruto saw the man substitute himself. 1 down, 3 to go, told one of them to the other. Sakura screamed in horror when she saw Kakashi being killed. Naruto saw both enemies charging towards them. He and Sasuke jumped in their way, they separated to deal with them one-on-one, and Sasuke pulled out a kunai and began to fight one of the men. While Naruto simply took out a kunai and threw at the one coming towards him with wind chakra coating and it pierced through his chain and his arms fell to the sides as nothing is holding them together. In his moment of surprise, Naruto punched him in the gut and chopped his neck, effectively knocking him out. His body fell forward limply. Naruto saw Sasuke finishing his opponent, but he had some bruises as the Uchiha took some hits and as both of the enemies fell unconscious, they heard clapping and turned to see an alive Kakashi walking towards them with an eye smile. Well done, you two. That's a nice way of dispatching your opponents. But now I have to talk to our client about some things. Won't you say, Tazuna? Kakashi asked seriously. The bridge builder gulped. While Tazuna tried to come up with his best excuses, Naruto observed the two attackers. One of the two had shoulder-length wild dark brown hair and dark eyes. He wore a rebreather that covers the lower half of his face and a large clawed poisonous gauntlet on his right arm, which had a broken chain coming out of it. He wore a camouflage suit with bandages around his waist, dark-colored, knee-length sandals and a ragged black cape. His Kurigakure forehead protector had a single horn on it. Balda had shoulder-length, wild dark brown hair and dark eyes. He also wore a rebreather and had a similar unbroken gauntlet on his other hand. He wore a camouflage suit with bandages around his waist, dark-colored, knee-length sandals and several pouches around his waist. His Kurigakure forehead protector had 2 horns on it. Naruto assumed the two to be brothers from their similar attire and headband, while Tazuna completed his explanation. So, let me make this straight. You have people trying to kill you, and despite knowing that, you asked for a C-rank mission and expected Konoha to send Chunin and Jounin with you for a normal protection detail. Even after knowing that we were assigned to you, you just stood there, not objecting or saying a word, and ended up not only putting yours, but also our lives in danger. Kakashi asked seriously and Tazuna reluctantly nodded. You should have told Jiji about your situation and he would have helped you. Now see what you have done. You nearly killed 2 innocent lives because of your carelessness. Is there anything more you left? Naruto asked as Kakashi silently observed. I guess moving forward, the people Gato will send will only be more skilled, Tazuna sighed. Wait, Naruto. You said 2 lives are in danger when we are 3 here, not including sensei. Are you implying you are not in danger? Sakura asked, using her brain and catching up on the small detail he said in his tirade. Yes. Didn't you see how I defended myself? Are you still doubting my capabilities as a shinobi, Sakura? Naruto replied calmly. She recalled all the events from the formation of Team 7 and her eyes widened in surprise. From their first mission as a team, Naruto showed he is skilled by either suggesting better ideas or doing smart work and also showed his progress in his work by using occasional Futon jutsu in their spars against Sasuke. She nodded dumbly. Sasuke's eyes narrowed at Naruto. He should have observed the dope better. Even he didn't notice the change till now. Now, tell me what to do. Cyclops sensei, what do you suggest? Naruto asked. Well, my cute little blonde. I say we interrogate them for any information and then decide. I know them. They are Gozu and Mizu, B-rank Nukenin from Kurigakure. If I guess correctly, then we have an A-rank Nukenin waiting for us. Let's see, Kakashi said and used a basic interrogation method to extract the information and sent a messenger bird to Konoha about the situation and to pick the tied-up brothers. Okay, so we have an A-rank Nukenin waiting for us. This increased the mission level from C to A. Tell me, do you want to continue or return to Konoha? Kakashi asked sternly, all his tardiness and laziness gone. Acting like a sensei he is. Azuna pleaded to come to Nami and their situation in more detail and argued they didn't have time to go back to Konoha and return as time is of the essence. His pleas worked as Naruto and Sasuke agreed and Sakura followed Sasuke's lead and agreed and they set forward to Nami, knowing that an A-rank Nukenin awaits them. As they moved, with their senses and eyes on high alert, they came across the sea separating Nami from the mainland, and an accomplice of Tazuna rowed them silently to the other side, under the disguise of mist and evening mist. Team 7 with Tazuna landed on the shore and moved inwards. Naruto saw movement in the corner of his eyes when Kakashi shouted, "Duck," pulling Tazuna with him. They all ducked as a large cleaver went past them at the place where their heads would be and stuck to a tree. A man landed on the large sword, standing on it as if it is a springboard. He was a tall and noticeably muscular man with light grayish skin, short spiky black hair, dark brown eyes, and small eyebrows. He was wearing bandages like a mask over the bottom half of his face and had a relatively narrow jawline and jagged teeth. He wore his forehead protector sideways on his head, identifying him from Kurigakure, and the slash across it explains that he is no longer allied to that village. Nunin. He is shirtless, with his chest only covered by a belt to which he attached his KUBIKIRIBMCHM executioner's blade, wearing baggy pants with a striped pattern typical of Kurigakure and mimetic wrist warmers, extending up to his elbows, with matching leg warmers. He stood on it as if he is standing on the ground and pulled out the sword, putting it on his shoulder. If it isn't Kakashi Haddock, the copy ninja. No wonder the demon brothers failed. What's this, a bunch of brats trying to play ninja? He mocked. Pressure started to build up in the area, leaking out of the man. Naruto saw his teammates freeze in fear and shock. He knew it won't be long for him to get affected. He read about this and tried to project his own from the books in the Uzumaki library. He understood one thing from the books. Killing intent affects everyone, but the people with either experience or if the user has more potent chakra than the person who is projecting, then that won't affect them. How he didn't know yet. That's why he tried the best way he thought. In this scenario, Naruto is the latter case. Though he cannot escape its complete effects, he is not affected as much as Sakura and Sasuke, who pulled kunai out to hurt themselves to escape the killing intent effects. Kakashi put a hand on Sasuke's hand. "Don't worry, Sasuke. I won't let harm be done to you," he said to Sasuke seriously and pulled out his kunai and projected his killing INT Kai towards Zabuza. The effect on them lessened a bit on them as Tazuna fainted long ago, unable to handle the bloodlust. Momochi Zabuza, the demon of Kiri. A rank Nunin and is one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, Kiri no Shinabigatana Shichinin SHK. "What do you want?" Kakashi asked seriously. "Kakashi, leave the old man and go. I assure you, no harm will be done to you or your students," said Zabuza smugly spinning his cleaver around. "I can't do that as I'm on a mission and I'm also giving you an option, Zabuza. I don't have any qualms with you. Go away now, you may live," Kakashi retorted. "Oh, let's see then," said Zabuza and did a few hand signs. "Suiton. Kurigakure no Jutsu water style. Hidden mist jutsu," he said, and mist started to cover the area. The thickness of the mist started to obscure vision which made Naruto activated his Sharingan to see more clearly. He saw Kakashi take his headband on his left eye and can see the chakra pathways to the left eye. He was surprised at what he saw. Zabuza started projecting more killing intent and started explaining about all vital organs. Naruto had enough. He did some hand signs and whispered, "Fuiton. Rapusho, wind style." Gale palm, and a gust of wind like a tornado swept across the landscape and took small pockets of mist away. Zabuza is behind Naruto and threw a kunai at him and he disperses in a puddle of water as Naruto sent the attack in all directions. Water clones thought of Naruto and Kakashi at the same time seeing this. Naruto's contacts covered his Sharingan while they also showed Kakashi's. "I hate wind users." "Who did this?" Zabuza asked impatiently. No one said anything. "Fine, I'll make this quick," he said and made a few more water clones. They all charged towards the shore while the real Zabuza and Kakashi fought on water. "Shadow clone jutsu," Naruto said, and 20 clones came into existence and charged to incoming 10 water clones and dispelled them with wind-enhanced hits. While 10 clones surrounded Naruto's team, the remaining 10 charged into the water, only to be stopped by Kakashi. "Take care of yourselves, Naruto." "I'll take care of him," he said, and all the clones returned to the shore, while the original Naruto is watching eagerly with his Sharingan active for all the jutsu that is no doubt going to be thrown around. "Suiton. Sahachi no jutsu, water wave jutsu," said Zabuza and Kakashi copied it. "Suiton. Sahachi no jutsu, water wave jutsu," Kakashi countered. Both waves clashed and water rushed to the shore while the battle continued on the water. "Suiton. Suryudan no jutsu, water dragon jutsu." "Suiton. Suryudan no jutsu, water dragon jutsu." Again both jutsu clashed and cancelled each other out. Jutsu are thrown around likewise, while they are copied and reflected with the same chakra, resulting in both jutsu cancelling each other out. "How is this possible? What are you doing, Kakashi? Are you?" Zabuza started in confusion. "Reading your mind." Kakashi finished for Zabuza. Zabuza had a horrified look at this and Kakashi charged her with a kunai and pierced Zabuza's left shoulder. Zabuza made a water clone that trapped Kakashi in a water prison due to his close proximity. Now I'm going to kill the old man. If your brats come in the way, I'll kill them as well. Good riddance. Brats playing ninja, said Zabuza, clutching his left arm as it started bleeding. He tied it up and charged towards the group, only leaving his water clone to keep Kakashi trapped. He made 20 water clones with much effort, and all of them except the water clone, which is holding Kakashi in prison, charged towards the rest of Team 7. Naruto's 20 clones are waiting and seeing water clones charge. They took out Mayuri and fought Zabuza in a sword fight. Original Naruto and Zabuza also engaged in a sword fight, while Sasuke and Sakura guarded Tazuna. Zabuza and Naruto fought with their swords. Slash, parry, slice, cut, and Zabuza even tried some hooks with a gap in his sword. Naruto escaped all of them. Each time the executioner's blade comes closer to Naruto's body, it will be pushed by some force Zabuza can't figure, and his sword will be cracked at that area. What's this? Do you have something surrounding your body? Zabuza asked in intrigue. Clever brat. Did you cover yourself in wind? I must admit, your so-called peaceful village is producing some strong brats, he complimented. Thanks, old man. But I'm not interested to know about your sword. It's just taking cracks instead of outright broken, care to explain? Naruto asked in interest. He can see something repair the sword as soon as it is broken or repelled. He wants to apply that to Mayuri if possible. Who doesn't like a self-repairing sword? Nice try, kid. But that would put me in Kiri's most wanted list, Zabuza said with a predatory smirk. As if you are not now, Naruto retorted. Though his Sharingan is advantageous, he can't keep up with Zabuza for long. Then he got an idea. Not bad, brat. You are good with your sword. Let's see what you will do now, Zabuza said hungrily and started making hand signs while holding his sword. Suiton. Suiton no jutsu, water style. Water bullet jutsu, a pressurized water bullet shot towards Naruto, and he did his own set of hand signs in reply. Wind style. Gale palm, Naruto said, and with a clap of his hands, a gust of wind came and easily dispersed the incoming water bullets easily. Zabuza's eyes widened at that. A genin doing a C-rank jutsu multiple times in the same fight is not commonly seen, and he had a newfound respect for Naruto now. You are beyond genin, brat. Let's see how you counter this, Zabuza said, but before he can do anything, someone interrupted him. Pain. Gakakyu no Jutsu fire style. Great fireball jutsu, yelled Sasuke, fed up with being on the sidelines. He is not going to sit to the side while Naruto fights everything. Zabuza had to jump back to escape the hot fireball coming towards him. Oh, a new brat. I thought of playing with you more, kid. But looks like your luck has run out, he said, and rapidly doing hand signs. Suiton. Daibakufu no Jutsu water style. Great waterfall jutsu, he said. A large water wave started to form from the river where Kakashi was stuck into a large wave. The force of this waterfall is great enough to hollow out the ground, washing away everything in the area as it moved towards Naruto and Sasuke. What are you waiting for? Do that fireball jutsu again, Naruto yelled at Sasuke as he started making hand signs, few of his clones joining with them. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu, Sasuke called, blitzing through hand signs. Wind style. Gale palm, said 3 clones. Wind style. Great breakthrough, said the original with 2 clones. Wind and fire jutsu merged to form a big fireball and met the incoming waterfall halfway. Large amounts of steam were released as the attacks fought for supremacy and evaporated each other. Sasuke and Zabuza started taking deep breaths as the mist dispersed. Zabuza, you are injured and your clone can't leave me. You can't keep up with Naruto anymore. I'll make your death as peaceful as possible. Surrender, said Kakashi from the prison. Naruto's clone is slowly swimming towards the water prison, and knowing this, Kakashi started to divert his attention. I won't give up, Kakashi. Do you think this brat can defeat me? I'm holding back to test him. I must admit, I'm impressed with him. But remember, Kakashi, this is not over, and I'll kill that old man, Zabuza challenged, pointing his sword towards Tazuna. Bunshin Daibakuha, Greek clone explosion, Naruto whispered, and his clone in the water exploded, creating strong ripples that made Zabuza's water clone lose his balance, and Kakashi escaped in the lapse of attention. Shit. It seems you are lucky, old man, said Zabuza and threw a smoke bomb and vanished into the winds, not even leaving a blood trail behind from his wound. His water clone dispelled after that, and Kakashi sighed in relief, but his exhaustion caught up and he fell face first into the water, drowning. One of Naruto's clones jumped in and brought him up. Thanks, Naruto. Tazuna, where is your house again? Kakashi asked weakly. An now awake Tazuna replied. It's just a few miles away. Follow me, and they followed him to his home. Tazuna's house. After a long walk, the group finally arrived at Tazuna's house, which is a small 2-story building to the side of the road. Naruto's clones were holding on to Kakashi, while Sakura and Sasuke were walking with a bridge builder. As they arrived, Tazuna knocked on the door. A young lady opened the door to greet them. She was apprehensive to open it, but as soon as Tazuna called out, she opened it in a rush. "Father?" Tsunami asked in joy, and when Tazuna nodded, she hugged him. "I was worried, father," she said, and Tazuna consoled her. "These are the shinobi that helped me get here, and they are going to stay with us till I complete my bridge," Tazuna explained, and Tsunami welcomed them with a happy smile. Tsunami was a young woman with fair skin and long blue hair. She wore a short-sleeved pink shirt with the end of the sleeves, and the collar is red and a long blue skirt. "Ma'am, can you make a room for our injured sensei?" Sakura asked as Naruto and Sasuke nudged her, and Tsunami happily obliged and made a room for Kakashi to relax and for them to chat with him. An hour passed while they waited for Kakashi to wake up, and Sasuke finally lost his patience. "So Naruto, wanna tell us how you know wind-style jutsu and you know kinjutsu?" Sasuke asked with an annoyed and angry look. The only people in the room were Team 7 while Kakashi is resting and Tazuna and Tsunami preparing meals for them. Sasuke was looking at Naruto intensely as the dope managed to outdo him in their confrontation with Zabuza. Sasuke didn't know how Naruto knew all these techniques and why he wasn't aware of them till now. He didn't know they could learn how to wield a sword that easily and why he wasn't taught. Overall, he is very unhappy and wanted to know anything and everything that can make him strong. If he had known, he would have learnt them and gotten a step closer to defeating him. "Yeah? Naruto, you didn't tell us about these," Sakura said, supporting Sasuke with a huff. She was really stunned by Naruto's performance on the bridge and couldn't help but keep the awe she felt from her tone. The jutsu Naruto used were perfectly executed and impressive. She doesn't know what else he is hiding from them and is doubting if they know anything about the blonde boy. A ninja must keep his secrets and always look underneath. The underneath is the rule I follow. I didn't tell you about my techniques in kinjutsu because I want to show my progress when I have mastered them," Naruto said with a shrug. Both his teammates' eyes widened at the statement. "Then it's a good thing you're gonna have another chance," Kakashi smirked as he woke from his slumber just in time to hear Naruto's words. "Sensei?" Sakura said, surprised that their teacher had recovered so quickly. At least that's what she thought. "Damn, so you also saw it?" Naruto chuckled, not as surprised as others. "What's going on?" Sakura asked in nervous confusion. She had a bad feeling about this. Maybe coming to Nami is a mistake is her first thought. Zabuza is still alive and will definitely come for Tazuna to finish his job. What I and Sensei are talking about is that there is another person with Zabuza the whole time. When he threw the smoke bomb, that person swooped in and took him from the area. Naruto explained and Kakashi nodded in agreement. "You did well against Zabuza today, Naruto, you too Sasuke. You both did well by protecting the client, Sasuke, Sakura." "Well done," Kakashi said with a thumbs up. Though Naruto didn't show it, he felt happy while Sasuke and Sakura puffed up their chests in pride. "But be very careful next time. Zabuza is very experienced and powerful ninja. He might not have taken you seriously this time, but he will next time. What worked once won't work again," Kakashi said, and his students nodded. "Sure, and luckily for us, we have a little while to train and get ready," Naruto said with a smirk. "Yes, but right now we should get some food. All of us could use that," Kakashi said with an eye smile. A few minutes later Tsunami came to call them for dinner. They happily dug in and had a nice meal after a well-fought battle with an A-ranked missing ninja. The topic of Naruto's sudden increase in skill, wind jutsu and kinjutsu, has been forgotten for the moment as all four ninjas ate happily. Everything Tsunami cooked for them was happily devoured. Diving into a whirlpool. Next morning, it was early in the morning and Naruto was at the seashore. With a few hand signs and a drop of his blood, 3 clones puffed around him. Naruto brought the blood clones he sealed in his scroll here as spare. They all have 10th of his chakra and a couple of chakra absorption seals if needed. They stood calmly, waiting for the original to speak. "One of you stay with the team and does as Kakashi says. One of you practice all the jutsu we copied yesterday from Zabuza, and the last one is going to investigate Gato and his activities. If he plans something that may endanger the team, finish him off and don't forget to take all his assets and transfer them to our international bank account. Is that clear?" he asked as got a collective high. He did many things in addition to just train in the month-long absence from his team. After gambling, he understood how easily he can earn money with his legendary luck. So Naruto went to an international bank in the same town and opened a bank account there in addition to his current account in Konoha Bank. International banks have a special privilege of sorts compared to the local banks in each shinobi village. According to some agreement said to have done at the time of the Shadai, international banks are given immunity to shinobi war as essentials are necessary for every nation. This allows trade and other merchant activities to go through smoothly even if a shinobi war is going on, and the fact this promise wasn't breached by any elemental nation during the 3 shinobi wars shows how well the agreement worked. "Good, now go. I'm going to our ancestral land," the original said, and all the clones' eyes widened at that but nodded. They all dispersed to their job. Naruto took out a map of the elemental nations and saw Uzushio to the north of Nami. This map is an old one and he found it in the Uzumaki estate. He performed a few hand signs. Guatin. Topu wind style. Jump, said Naruto. Flying always allured him when he saw birds in his childhood. So he vowed to create a cool jutsu to fly one day. To reach that goal, Naruto tried many types to fly. But he can't figure out how to use the wind to that level yet and how to be immune to the change in wind pressure when he goes up. So he settled for a better alternative for now. With wind chakra at the end of his feet, he can jump high into air, so he started using this in conjunction with his surface sticking exercises like tree walking and water walking and created a semi-flying jutsu. He would kick earth hard and shoot up into the air and with subtle wind manipulation, pushes himself into the direction he wants to go and the result came in his favor. Next, he tested how far he can be pushed and on his landing. The first time he landed, the place he landed broke because of the wind at his feet and he was half buried in the ground. After achieving landing perfectly as well, Naruto practiced a few more times and is now confident in using jumps to go to Uzushio from Nami with a burst of wind. Naruto shot to the north where Uzushio is located. Scene break. It took Naruto 4 hours to reach Uzushio. But what he saw wrenched his heart. Everything was destroyed, leaving only pillars of stone. There were also faded marks of blood and piles of weapons around. Naruto activated his Sharingan to see any chakra trace in the area. He knew it would be impossible for anything to stand this type of destruction, but against all odds, he tried. He can't see any bodies around though. But to his amazement, there are still tracks of chakra flow with so many hidden mechanisms in the village running underground. When looked down at the city structure, he saw a massive labyrinth of chakra activity underground. Naruto couldn't understand how the attackers didn't find out about this, but also he doubted the possibility as his clan proved their intelligence to him with their letter and message in Uzumaki estate. Hidden by destroyed rocks and rubble, there is a hidden small city underground. But before going in, Naruto looked around for any other places where chakra is active. He found a large building in the form of a shrine and made his way there first. It is a large ruined building with most of its structure broken with grass and fungi partying, but the first floor is intact and Naruto entered in without any problem. There were skeletons of dead people surrounding the entrance as if guarding it and he can see a thin layer of chakra from it. Cautiously, Naruto went in and saw a figure on the main wall of the building. He didn't pay it much mind as a large spiral was engraved in the pillars and ceiling of the building. From what he knew about his clan, every spiral they draw has something hidden in it and Naruto knew this spiral will be special as well. Naruto saw a large scroll sitting on a cushion with golden endings and red color carvings, with various colors going in the middle and the center of the room. To Naruto, it reminded the forbidden scroll of seals. Curious what it was about, Naruto moved closer to inspect. His Sharingan showed him something. The scroll is protected by a large sealing matrix, and Naruto observed various kanji in it. Blood, Uzumaki, death, chakra absorption, electrification seals etc. They have so many hidden mechanisms that can kill if the party touching doesn't have Uzumaki blood if he understood it correctly. The scroll can only be opened by an Uzumaki with their blood. If anyone tries to open it, they may suffer chakra exhaustion, chakra poisoning, death in case of people with average or below average chakra reserves, and in some cases chakra sealing. Naruto knew he has Uzumaki blood as the Uzumaki estate proved as it asked for his blood at every step when he first went there. So with confidence, he cut his finger with a kunai. As Naruto spread his blood across the scroll, there was a loud clicking sound and his blood vanished and his wound healed instantly. He sighed in relief. As he didn't die of anything. His self-musings were stopped as the scroll started to emit steam and a small sheet landed in Naruto's hands. There are 2 scrolls. A small one beside a large one. Naruto took the small one and opened it and with a bit of his chakra, a hologram or something like that of an old man started playing. He is a wise-looking old man wearing blue battle armor with grey hair and violet eyes looking at Naruto in pride with his hands clasped. Dear descendants, my name is Ashura Uzumaki. I'm the current head of the Uzumaki clan and leader of Uzushio. I hope you met our prince and the following should only be read by him. There was another matrix, Naruto silently dropped another blood drop and letters started forming. My dear prince, I hope you are safe and doing well. I left this scroll here instead of transporting it to the Uzumaki estate in Konoha because I want you to visit your homeland. I know you were aware of the Uzumaki prince story. We were being attacked by Kiri, Iwa and Kumo. Even though our clan didn't enter into shinobi wars and actively participate in any other conflicts, we are the first shinobi village to exist. Uzushio is the first shinobi village and we are a warrior clan as well. We loved peace and our family. Our clan values those most. Peace and family. We didn't do any of the backhanded tricks that all the shinobi villages do to each other. We are here loving our family and minding our business, but were massacred because of our fuinjutsu prowess. I don't want you to take revenge or anything. They have suffered enough for their insolence and are noble clansmen. I want you to be careful, my dear prince. I'm sure we were able to kill most of the attacking forces. We sent our young children away as they are the future of our village and clan. My dear prince, as your grandfather and the current clan head, I bestow you the Uzumaki clan knowledge. Everything from Fuinjutsu to Juinjutsu and all the forbidden and secret techniques we created are there in this scroll. I entrust you with the future of the Uzumaki clan and hereby name you the clan head and guardian of the Uzushiogakure. Honor our memory and live a long and happy life. There is a ritual that is going to take place as soon as this is done. Don't worry, it is not dangerous. It is in place to completely transfer the charge to you. I know you didn't have a good childhood, my dear Mago grandson, but I am glad you are safe. The ritual will also get rid of any growth stunt you have due to factors that could be avoided. It will make your body stronger and will give you full access to our clan's Kekkei Genkai. Take care of yourself, Mago. Remember, the world is not all black and white and we are shinobi. Our clan is a great reminder of that. If you want peace, you should be ready to fight for it. We thought we could escape the conflicts and wars if we stayed away from them and not participated. We were proven wrong when 3 of the 5 shinobi nations attacked us. Become strong and bring the peace our clan died for. We will always be with you in memory. P.S. The scroll has a picture of our family, it's the only thing I could salvage. With love, Ajichan, the Shuri Uzumaki. Naruto felt tears coming from his eyes and saw the Uzumaki symbol beneath him glow a brighter red. His mind went blank after that as the ritual went on. Meanwhile, with blood clones, while the original was on his way to Uzushio, the blood clones fell into their job and did their part perfectly. First they assigned duties. The first blood clone will go to Team 7, while the second one went to practice the jutsu they copied with some shadow clones, while the last one took on the investigation duty. When the first clone returned, Kakashi was up and everyone was having breakfast. With the excuse of morning exercise, the clone joined them. After their breakfast, Kakashi started their training. Let's start. Does any one of you know about chakra control? Kakashi asked. He has a Naruto clone supporting as he still can't walk. Kakashi thought his clone did their job of carrying him well yesterday and assigned one clone of supporting him. Naruto had to follow and made a clone just to follow the man and what he wants to do. As usual, Sakura puked all her book knowledge and Kakashi smiled. Correct. Now let me show a method to increase your control. This allows you to control your chakra better and use it efficiently, he explained and walked up to a tree with the clone supporting. You need to send chakra to the soles of your feet and walk like this, Kakashi said, and walked a few feet on the tree. All of them gave surprised reactions including Naruto, and Kakashi asked them to practice it till they master it and left. The second blood clone created 100 clones and assigned them a specific jutsu. One squad of 10 clones in addition to this were practicing the Jinjutsu, which is effectively using the Eye of Hypnotism part of Sharingan well. Each squad started practicing a specific jutsu. While one practiced the Water Dragon Jutsu, another practiced Water Wave Jutsu and Hidden Mist Jutsu. Their practice went on like that. The blood clone didn't stop there. It also instructed another squad to practice the Kinjutsu, mimicking Zabuza's moments wielding a shadow clone version of the Executioner blade. They chose an unused part of the island for their practice and also secured the perimeter with some proximity seals and noise suppression seals, so all their loud practice will not be heard by anyone. The third blood clone is also doing his duty and is currently watching Gato. The short businessman looked disgusting to him with his appearance. He has shaggy brown hair and sports a pair of small, circular black glasses, which doesn't suit him, and wore a black suit with a purple tie, a yellow shirt underneath his coat and closed-toed shoes. Naruto found the short films collection of Under the Rug dealings going in the Wave Country and what he is actually doing in his short watch of few hours. All Gato's activities didn't amuse the clone a bit and all he wanted is to bang the short fuck's face repeatedly into a burning oven and kill painfully. But he stuck to his watch duty for now. That evening, somewhere on Nami Island, as the day passed, all the blood clones discussed their progress and plans. They can't contact the original for some reason, and they decided to take things into their hands. Kakashi with Tazuna and I have just returned from the ongoing bridge work. The day went peacefully without any interference from anybody. I think the clone I left is still practicing tree climbing, and Sakura already mastered it, the first one said. I practiced the jutsu. They are coming good and found a way to increase the efficiency of clones. I think we can dispel the Jinjutsu cast on us by Kakashi now, he said proudly. Really? Asked other clones. Yup. We practiced a lot and after multiple tries, I managed to break through 4 clones simultaneously casting. So I think we can escape them, he assured, and all of them jumped in joy. I don't want to dispel the clones now and create a headache to the original. So I didn't dispel them yet, that's good. We don't know how he is and can't contact him either. So better to wait till he asks you to, said the third and the other 2 nodded and looked at him. The short fuck is so screwed, I'm sure boss will kill him immediately for everything he did. Is it that bad? Yes. It's worse than the unofficial mission, boss went on. You know how it turned out, yeah. So what do we do? Just wait. Continue your assigned job, and if the boss didn't contact even tomorrow, we can discuss a plan of action then, said the first blood clone, and others nodded and dispersed. Dinner time, Tazuna's house. Not knowing of everything happening in Nami, Team 7 with Tazuna's family are having dinner after a day of full effort. Everything went well for all except Inari, Tazuna's grandson. After hearing all the progress Team 7 is making, he threw a tantrum about the failure of the team's mission and other antagonistic words. Slap. Naruto's clone couldn't take it, slapped Inari. Character repeated, brat? He asked with his eyes narrowing at the young boy. Inari, tears-stained eyes, glared back harshly and tried to run away, but something, more like someone, stopped him. Listen, brat. I know that your country is suffering from a tyrant and know about your father's story as I heard about him in the murmurs around town. When someone tried to stand against Gato and they will be beaten by the thugs he hired, Naruto spoke, holding Inari's hand in a vice-like grip. At this point, all the people in the house have their attention fixed on Naruto. Tsunami wanted to stop, but something told her it would be futile and stayed quiet. But your grandfather, despite knowing all this and the price he would pay if he was captured by Gato, is risking his life to construct the bridge. A bridge that will connect this island to the mainland. A bridge of hope. A bridge of dreams. For what? So that you don't need to suffer anymore. So that anyone on Nami doesn't need to suffer the fate Kaiser suffered. You know, he even lied to the Hokage about the mission parameters, and if he was to step into Konoha again, he would be executed instantly without any investigations. But still, he did it for you, Inari, Naruto said, daring the brat to make a move or raise his voice, but Inari wisely did none and just whimpered. He is doing it for your people. The people of Nami, and that includes you. Inari. An ungrateful brat who only knows to cry like a coward and show his back to his family instead of helping them. You know how much your mother bears the taunts and threatening calls of the thugs made on your grandfather and herself. Everyone knows she is living with an old man and a good-for-nothing son. She endures all those, and what are you giving her in return? Running away from problems, not listening to her words, and throwing useless, foolish and childish temper tantrums about a dead man who is a hero who tried to fight against the tyranny of Gato. You are a worthless shit and don't have any right to comment on the actions of others, and what did you say? We all are going to die. Naruto asked furiously, forcefully lifting Inari's gaze into his eyes. Inari saw flashing a dangerous red for a moment as it disappeared as fast as it appeared and was chilled to the core. We are shinobi. Death and risk is part of the job. We are not afraid of death, and every shinobi dies for their village happily as they love it and protect it till their demise. Shinobi are killers and are aware of looming death at each corner of the road. But you are not one of us. You also have a loving grandfather and mother who love you and provide you with everything you need, and you behave like a coward and belittle them for your uselessness, ungrateful brat. If I hear you cry about the loss of your father or don't listen to your mother again, I'll show you true death, Naruto said with rage, and Inari stayed silent. Is that understood? He asked the crying mess of a child who pissed his pants due to sheer fear. Inari slowly nodded and Naruto took his hand. Good. Now get lost, he growled, and Inari ran to his room instead of going outside. I'm sorry, Tazuna. But your grandson needs a reality check, he said sadly as the old bridge builder nodded sorrowfully. Naruto also apologized to Tsunami and left the house to blow off some steam. Stupid brat and his foolish behavior, he grumbled as he left Tazuna's house, leaving a completely stunned Team 7, with their mouths hitting the ground. Naruto just went out, not even telling Kakashi where he was going. Normally, Kakashi would have objected and asked him where he was going, but the man was in such a state of shock, he didn't notice Naruto leaving. Kakashi didn't see this side of Naruto ever. Even when he was tailing Naruto in his childhood, Naruto was always a kind, cheerful and hyperactive boy. He knew Mizuki incident as the Hokage briefed him on what happened. But Kakashi didn't expect Naruto to change this much. To slap a cowardly child who always spoke about their shinobi, uselessness and saying things to his mother and grandfather is not a good thing to do, yes. He knew Naruto would react, yes, but he thought it would be in a more subdued way. Either by telling Inari of Naruto's own life or his struggles in life. But not like slapping Inari, which even his mother and grandfather didn't dare to do, and saying to his face that he is a cowardly, useless and ungrateful brat is a new thing. I think I should observe him more carefully. Not that this change is unwelcomed, but to know what extent it is in him, thought Kakashi. He is going to report this to the Hokage after the mission is done. Next morning, after calling the second clone and practicing everything they learned in the day to blow off some steam, the first clone slept while the second clone went to do his work. Naruto heard someone enter the clearing and pick herbs. He silently observed what they were picking and knew the herbs the person is picking are used to treat chakra exhaustion and injuries in particular from his knowledge. Naruto knew who was injured like that. According to his estimate, Zabuza might take another 3 to 5 days to heal if the person healing him is an expert. From the herbs this person is picking, he knew they are an expert. He woke up to see a girl. Pick all the herbs silently and fully woke up. "Ah, hello," Naruto greeted the person. "Hello, Shinobi-san. What you are doing here?" she asked in a kind tone. She had long black hair, pale skin and large dark brown eyes, and a slender frame, and wore a sleeveless pink kimono with pale red edges and decorated with small plum-colored swirls that went to her ankles. Around her waist was a simple white obi tied in a bow, and she wore a pair of light brown sandals with dark straps. She also wore a dark-colored choker around her neck. She is definitely gorgeous. Training. I pushed it too far last night," Naruto said sheepishly. "Are you going to be alright?" she asked in concern. "Of course, don't worry. What are you collecting?" "Some herbs for my injured parent." "What happened to them?" "They slipped and fell. They're badly injured," she explained with a sad look. What an actor, Naruto thought. Why is he dumb? He is smarter than this in his fight with Zabuza-sama, Haku thought. Where are my manners? "My name is Naruto," Naruto said extending his hand. Haku said extending her hand. "Oh, I'm a boy," Haku said with a sweet smile. "What?" Naruto yelled in surprise. "Parents love and Yuzushio." Naruto didn't know what happened, and as his memories settled in, he caught up with everything that happened and frantically looked around to see his grandfather. But he is nowhere to be found. He knew his grandfather told him that the ritual would fix him things and it was not harmful. But seeing the unfamiliar surroundings, Naruto was confused. It's like a beach with its sides having bluish-greenish water. Though Naruto can't see any sun, the area is bright with everything clearly visible to him. As he walked deeper, he saw a big cage with large iron bars with a kanji for seal on it on a sealing paper. Naruto deduced where he is. He is in his seal len in front of the Kyuubi's cage. He got curious about his seal, but as he couldn't understand what it was other than some minor details, he chose not to experiment with it. He saw glowing red eyes stare back at him from within the cage. "Why have you summoned me here, Kyuubi?" Naruto asked without a hint of fear. But before the Kyuubi could answer, another voice interrupted. "Naruto?" Someone gasped. Naruto turned to see the person who called him and froze in shock. There, in front of him stood the most beautiful woman he has ever seen. She has long red hair which from the first look, he loved a lot. She was a fair-skinned and slender woman of feminine build with joyful violet eyes. Her red hair was straight and reached her ankles with shoulder-length strands that framed both sides of her face and a black clip that parts her hair to the left. She wore a white high-collared, sleeveless blouse under a long, loose-fitting green dress with a wristband on her left wrist and standard shinobi sandals. He knew this woman. His heart thumped faster. He just saw her photo recently after all. "Ha-chan." Naruto whispered and felt being hugged. Kushina was surprised that he knew her. But her motherly instincts took over and hugged her beloved son with so much love and joy. Her wish came true. She finally met her son. Though she felt it was just yesterday that they left him, she can see his headband and guess at least he is 12. Kyuubi watched all this in amusement. Looks like he is going to be entertained today. What a touching reunion. "Won't you join, Yandame?" he said in joy. This made the hugging mother and son look in the direction of the Kyuubi's gaze. Kushina was surprised to see her late husband here, but Naruto was most shocked. There stood the man he looked up to as an idol and his hero, Namikaze Minato, the Yandame Hokage. He is a tall man with cerulean blue eyes similar to his and spiky blonde hair with lower bangs than his. He also had jaw-length bangs framing either side of his face. He wore a blue Konoha uniform with 2 bands on both of his sleeves, a jounin flak jacket, a blue forehead protector, blue sandals and a short-sleeved long white haori over his attire, closed in the front by a thin orange rope. The haori was decorated by red flame-like motifs on the edges, with the kanji for 4th fire shadow, Yandame Hokage, written vertically down the back connected by small dots. Naruto can see it now. Their resemblance was uncanny. If the joy of seeing his mother isn't there, he would be heartbroken by the realization. "It couldn't be," he said, unable to control his shock and surprise. "Looks like your brat figured it," Kushina said an amused Kyuubi. Kushina just stared at her son in concern as his eyes morphed into the familiar red of the Sharingan in front of her and gasped. "Why?" is the only question Naruto asked and it is directed to Minato. The man in question sighed and his shoulders slumped in defeat. "I don't have another option, Naruto. I want to save the village, but I don't want my family broken because of my selfishness to protect the village and decided to seal the Yang Kyuubi in you with help of the Shinigami and the yin half in me. But as the sealing started, the weakened Kyuubi broke out of your mother's chains and attacked to kill you, its next vessel. As I chose to sacrifice already, I jumped in the way. But Kushina also jumped to stop it. The wound was fatal and with my remaining strength, I sealed the Yang Kyuubi in you and added a small part of our chakras to guide you when you try to take control of its power. But I feel light again as if something is being lifted off me. I don't understand what was happening. I'm sorry for everything, Naruto, Minato said sadly as he walked closer to Naruto. I saw everything you went through, son. I know I can't ask you for forgiveness for everything you went through, but I hope you find what I am about to say reasonable enough for my selfish act. The Kyuubi is a powerful Biju, Naruto. It is. I'm a he, Minato, interrupted the Kyuubi, and Minato nodded in acknowledgement. He is said to be the strongest of the Biju, and I can't trust anyone with such power. Moreover, only Uzumaki can host the Kyuubi because of certain traits they have, and your mother is very weak from childbirth and Kyuubi's attack. You're the only option. But I also have another strong reason. I want to give you a chance to fight the man who is the cause behind all this, son. He came out of nowhere and killed the guards and took Kushina hostage and released the Kyuubi, and as she is weak, she couldn't stop it. He claims to be Uchiha Madara, and that worried me. I fought him and though I won, the damage was already done. I want to give you a chance against him if he is the real Uchiha Madara, Naruto. He is a dangerous man rumored to be Shodai's equal in strength. Minato stopped as he came face to face with Naruto and saw the blood reds of a matured Sharingan. Minato, his eyes, said Kushina, coming out of her shock as Kyuubi sent a small wave of his chakra to continue his entertainment. Yes, Kushina. No doubt. They are the Sharingan. Naruto. Minato woke Naruto from his shock as he is still frozen, knowing his own father pushed the worst fate on him. I want you to carefully listen to this, Naruto, Minato said sternly, all his guilt and sorrow gone. Naruto knew what his father is doing as his Jiji sometimes changes like that. This is a very well-guarded secret none knew, Naruto. So, I suggest caution in sharing it with anyone, he said seriously, and Naruto nodded. Though Naruto wants to strangle the man to death, he can't right now as the seriousness in his tone and face told him this is not a joke. I don't know what the academy taught you, but just like how the Uzumaki clan are cousins to the Senju clan, the Namikaze clan are cousins to the Uchiha clan, Minato dropped the bomb, and Naruto's eyes widened to the size of dinner plates and Kyuubi's as well. He didn't know of this fact as Kushina blocked him most of the time when he was insider. Now, this got even more interesting for him. What? Yes, Naruto. Long ago a group of Uchiha who didn't awaken their Sharingan separated themselves from the Uchiha clan and formed a new clan. The Namikaze clan spend their lives as merchants. Legend says that it is highly unlikely for a Namikaze to awaken their Sharingan, but if one awakens it, they will be the strongest of the generation. Here lays a key difference between the Uchiha and us. While the Uchiha awakens the Sharingan when something emotionally strong happens, we awaken the Sharingan when there is a great loss and there is deep despair. I can only imagine what you went through to awaken the Sharingan, Naruto. Sharingan awakened in all our previous members proved to be stronger than the Uchiha awakened in the same period. I don't know what makes us different. The generation skippered the emotions we go through to awaken it. I don't know because I couldn't awaken it. But I heard that the Namikaze who awakens the Sharingan will change. Change significantly from the inside out. It somehow affects the psyche and thinking of the user. Since we have lived generations without the Sharingan and seeing Sharingan as merely a tool is created among the Namikaze clan rather than the almighty weapon that the Uchiha boasted is. I saw the changes in you. It did you more good than anyone else. It changed you for the better, said Minato. His long explanation ended and it took a few minutes for Naruto to sink in. Kushina hugged her son, trying her best to console him. Naruto was somewhat relaxed after his mother hugged him and he returned the hug subconsciously. Damn it. When I thought he is going to be an interesting container, he awakened that good-for-nothing shit and now I learn that they are distant relatives of those bastards. The Kyuubi thought in rage. Though the Uchiha not being in any way related to him did more damage to him than anyone and he particularly hates one man with passion. Naruto, stop your useless lecture and do something to distract him. You went on and on, I don't know whether you are giving your knowledge or just droning around, Kushina said, elbowing Minato. Sorry. I didn't mean to, but it sorta happened like that. Naruto, where do you live? I know the villagers are bad to you. But I couldn't see everything. So yeah, he explained himself. What? Why are the villagers bad to my son? Kushina asked, hearing about it for the first time. Whoa. Calm down, Kushina. Someone spread about Naruto's Jinchuriki status as he was ill-treated after that, explained Minato, and he later realized his mistake. What did you say? She asked in a dangerously sweet tone as her hair started to grow and a figure of 10 tails formed. Leave it, Mom. I have come to terms with it. I don't care what they think of me anymore, said Naruto, grabbing Kushina's hand as she started to move towards Minato. Naruto, I live in a single-bedroom dingy apartment at the edge of the Shinobi district. It has a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen and a balcony. But I can see the best part of Konoha from there. I think it was constructed a long time ago, but it is in good condition. Though I would like to have some more comforts like a new bed and furniture as the ones in it are pretty old and live in a relatively large house, I can manage. Naruto said in a stern tone. But now I found the Uzumaki estate and started living there for the most part. My blood clone replaced me since my graduation, he explained. You can do blood clone? Kushina asked with stars in her eyes. Naruto gave her a thumbs up and made one to show her. I'm a blood clone, Dadabeo, said the clone with a big grin. Kushina started poking and testing his durability while Minato recollected himself. Naruto, what you are living in was my apartment before I moved out after becoming jounin with your mother. If I'm correct, it has a balcony which gives a perfect view of Hokage Monument, is it not? Naruto nodded. He seems somewhat recovered from the shock. Though there is not much joy outside, he is happy to know he is living in his father's apartment. Maybe Gigi did this one thing right. Came a passing thought. There are some seals I made to hide some things in that house. I forgot them there when I moved out. Some scrolls have the beginnings of Rasengan and Hiraishin hidden in the cabinet below the cooker in the kitchen. It is blood sealed and if you apply your blood, I think it would recognize you. Take them as a gift for all the birthdays I missed, and there are some other basic elemental jutsu and chakra exercises. You can use them as well. Everything there is yours, son. I'm sorry that I had to seal the Kyuubi in you, but I don't have another option, Minato apologized at last. His responsibility as the Hokage stopped him from pouring his heart to Naruto till now, but seeing the damage his village did to him, his mask finally cracked. Naruto hugged him for the first time in all this time, and Minato tearfully expressed his regret. He knew some instances where Naruto suffered. But in all his calculations, he didn't think the village would make him awaken the Sharingan. He saw in his childhood how difficult it is for them, the Namikaze, to awaken the Sharingan. Instead of just a strong emotional outburst like the Uchiha, they need constant despair hanging around and bearing it as hell. He knew awakening the Sharingan is a slow process for them, and only Kami knows how much despair Naruto went through to finally awaken. If only he knew it before all this happened. As his Hokage side weakened, everything became more clear for him. His father's side took over. I know it is late, Naruto. But for what it is worth, I'm sorry Naruto. I shouldn't have sealed the Kyuubi in you or at least believed the people of Konoha would look past their hatred. I'm sorry, son, Minato said, bowing his head in defeat and surrender. Kushina's hand was on her mouth in shock. He walked up to the bowing Hokage and lifted him. I can understand your situation, Dad. I don't think it is your mistake. As the Hokage, you are chosen to protect the people of the village, and you did an excellent job by protecting the entirety of Konoha from his attack. Even if it resulted in your family being torn, I forgive you. You saved so many lives and you are my hero for that, Naruto said and hugged his father. Minato cried tears of joy. He was forgiven for what he dubbed as the biggest mistake and regret of his life. I can't fault you entirely. The populace of Konoha should also take the blame. Gigi is too old to deal with this, he said, and Minato didn't comment on that. That line reminded him and Kushina of the various promises the old man had made in their dying breath. I won't say they are completely innocent either. Though I sealed him in you to save my village and balance of power in 5 great nations, I'm sorry Naruto. I did what I thought best without listening to your mother's advice and opinion. I'm sorry for that, Kushina, he said as the Redeed walked up to them and both mother and son bonked him and yelled Baka. Minato endured and after a sheepish smile, they had a family hug. Kushina felt tears of joy as meeting and talking to Naruto eluded her all this time as she still regretted leaving him alone to fend for himself like that. But seeing him all grown up and doing the Uzumaki clan's greatest invention was heartwarming. Thinking of the greatest inventions, she does have something to share as well. What made you suddenly appear here and where is this? Naruto asked and Minato chuckled and replied happily. This is your mindscape, Naruto. This is a mental representation of your mind and a part of it. And as for our appearance here, I have sealed a bit of mine and Kushina's chakra in your seal as a last-ditch effort to help you. I would help in case you ever reached Eight-Tails state and your mother at the time you fight the Kyuubi for his chakra and control over him. But I think the Uzumaki ritual you are going through did this. Didn't it say it is going to repair the malfunctions and malnutrition if it can be avoided? Minato asked and Naruto nodded. Kushina found a word that triggered a squeal and Naruto explained what was going on. So you are in Uzushio? She asked, perplexed. She didn't think her son would come to Uzushio one day after its destruction in the Second Great Shinobi War. Yes, Kachan and I saw Ajichan as well. So you are implying that the ritual has fixed the seal and ejected your chakra as it is a foreign source? Naruto asked dumbly, to which Minato and Kushina nodded. Though Naruto is good at seals, he didn't think he is going to be at the same level as his parents, who are Genjutsu masters. They understood the mechanism of the ritual to such an extent that started explaining what it does to Naruto. I don't think I'll get another chance to meet you both like this, so let's do something. I can't have you both feeling sad with me around, said Naruto, and both his parents nodded. But I have something I should also teach you before we get distracted. Let's see, Kushina said, which made the father and son look at her expectantly. If you have come to Uzushio, then you can visit our home and take anything from there as everything there belongs to you. I don't know what condition it is in. The house is to the right of the Uzukage. Yes, Tu-chan was very happy to call himself that, Uzukage Tower in the middle of the village. I'll teach you about chakra absorption jutsu as well, Kushina said with an excited glint in her eyes. She got happy and cheerful audience as Minato and Naruto started to talk to each other about everything they can do with such jutsu. Chakra absorption techniques, chakra kicken jutsu, allow the user to absorb the chakra of another individual and utilize it as if it were their own. The Uzumaki clan had a variation for this. Absorbing others' chakra requires a medium to do so, whether it be a jutsu, weapon or others. Some can absorb chakra simply by making physical contact with a target. There is a seal prepared by the Uzumaki clan for this. However, the technique I'm going to teach you is an advanced version of that seal, as it doesn't require any of the above, but just contact with your chakra, but also gives something more. For example, if you touch someone who has a special Kage Bunshin, you will absorb that nature chakra unlike the normal chakra in case of the other variant. But this doesn't apply to jutsu as it requires blood rather than chakra. Though we didn't use this jutsu to steal anybody's Kage Bunshin, they went too far for my liking to hold this anymore, Kushina explained in what Minato dubbed as her lecture mode. Really? Naruto asked in surprise. He didn't know that type of jutsu existed and this might also be another cause for the Uzushio attack. Yes. Now about the seal. The seal to seal one's chakra is common knowledge and it is made by our clan and is used by most of the elemental nations. But the technique to absorb chakra I'm going to teach you is a technique that is passed down only to the clan head family. Don't teach this to anyone unless they are going to be part of the family and don't teach the variant I'm teaching you to anyone as it could be dangerous for them. Is that understood, young man? She asked sternly and Naruto nodded. Yes, ma'am, he said and gave her a salute. Kushina nodded in satisfaction at the determination and conviction in Naruto's eyes and taught him the jutsu. If you want to develop it further or didn't understand the concept clearly, there is a scroll in our house. At least it should be there before the attack. Try to find it, she said, and Naruto nodded. After teaching the jutsu, his parents started explaining their life and love story, which is particularly interesting to Naruto. Naruto smiled happily listening to them and just being with his parents. And after what seemed like days, he came to the end of it. Minato explained about his famous techniques and their usage and the scrolls in the apartment and his mother showed her adamantine chakra chains, a unique jutsu of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto looked at the golden chains in amazement and wanted to learn about them, but Kushina explained about their natural awakening and couldn't help him. Well, I'm here to help you control the Kyuubi, you know, said Kushina as she sat beside Minato, Naruto's head in her lap, ruffling his hair. All of them turned to Kyuubi who had sweat dropped. Now, Kushina. Don't be like that. I'm here with you, listening to everything like a good adult. Don't you think you are stretching it too far? Nah. I don't know when I'll meet my son again, so I'll help him take control of you now, she said, and chakra chains shot out of her back. Seeing this Naruto extended his hand to prepare a jutsu, but he heard a metal clanking sound and looked at his neck to see a necklace with a red chain tied with an Uzumaki swirl in the middle around it. Naruto, that is the mark of the clan head. I didn't become clan head officially as I was far away to go through the ritual, but I have seen my father with that chain many times. Though I'm the princess, I was not the official clan head. But it seems you have been accepted as new clan head and the Uzukage of Uzushiogakure, Kushina said with a megawatt smile. Her son had become a Kage at just 12 years old fulfilling her dream. She gave Naruto a bone-crushing hug with her chains long dispersed because of her distraction. Let's test the chakra absorption on Kyuubi, Ka-chan, Naruto said, and Kyuubi started to go back into the cage. Not so fast, said Kushina and chains shot towards him and pinned him to the entrance of the cage. He growled in anger at that. Not much. I just want to test it. I'm not one for force submission. I promise it will be itsy-bitsy part for you, Naruto promised and touched the struggling Kyuubi. He felt a large intake of power and rage and felt as if he was invincible. But all the chakra he took went straight into the necklace and a small seal formed on it. Huh? I can't use it. He said dumbfounded. The Uzumaki are more crafty than I thought. That's it. Not going to give you any more, said Kyuubi and chains vanished around it and he went deep into the cage. But he was not even worse for wear after Naruto thought he took a sizable potion. That went well, said Minato as he transferred the key of the seal to Naruto. Kyuubi laughed silently in his cage in the cover of darkness. Foolish Minato. You don't know what happened and by the time you find out, it's going to be too late. He thought happily. But that necklace reminded him of something. What that is, he can't put his finger on for now. How much time do you have? Naruto asked and Minato sighed sadly. I don't know, son. We should be gone by now. But something tells me we just had enough time to say our goodbyes, he said sadly, and Naruto nodded in understanding. They all had a final laugh remembering some funny things that happened in their life, and Naruto engraved that picture with his Sharingan. He will not forget this moment, ever. He made a shadow clone and made him snap a photo with a camera he created in his mind after Minato explained how this works. His mother advised him to pin the Kyuubi like how she did, but Naruto didn't like it and left him be. All the memories with his parents are deeply carved into his subconscious. He wants to live this life but knows it's not going to happen. To love and to be loved is just but W dream to him. Naruto vowed to do anything for the person who loves him, and as he was in his trance, Minato and Kushina slowly started fading. "I think it is time, Naruto," Minato said. This managed to snap the blonde boy out of his trance. Naruto saw his parents' bodies begin to fade into light particles. "It is a miracle that we all spent all this much time together, Naruto. Thank you for choosing us as your parents," said Kushina, tears running down her cheeks. "Naruto, when I became the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, Mito Abachan, who is the first Jinchuriki of him, told me about the way she defeated the malice and hatred of the Kyuubi," Kushina said, tearing up. Naruto looked at his mother, listening to every word she is saying, and seeing his attention was on her, Kushina continued. "She told me that the love the Shadai had for her and she had for him allowed her to fill the gap that comes with being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I followed her example and found love in Minato, which gave me the strength to push forward in life while being his Jinchuriki. I want you to find love, son. Find love and that love will help you," Kushina said, and Naruto nodded, taking her suggestion to heart. Minato and Kushina started to fade as more of their bodies started to disintegrate into gold particles. "No matter what happens, no matter your choices, remember we love you, Naruto. Kyuubi, please take care of our son," said Minato, water in the corner of his eyes. Kyuubi gave him a nod, acknowledging his request. "Make us proud, Naruto. We'll always be with you in spirit in all your endeavors," Kushina said. "We love you a lot, son." They both did the same and three of them hugged one last time. "Thank you, Ka-chan, Tu-chan. For being my parents. I'll make you proud no matter what. That's a promise of a lifetime." "Believe it," cheered Naruto. "We know you will, Naruto," his parents replied, and a last kiss on Naruto's forehead, they both vanished in golden particles. Naruto's tears increased seeing them vanish. Naruto's Sharingan spun wildly as he unconsciously channeled large amounts of chakra into his eyes, and instead of his matured Sharingan with 3 tomos, a new pattern in both of his eyes with tears of blood flowing down his cheeks. "Nanami, a day ago, but Blood Clone 1, where are my manners? My name is Naruto," Naruto said extending his hand. Haku said extending her hand. "Oh, I'm a boy," Haku said with a sweet smile. "What?" Naruto yelled in surprise. "Are you sure you are a boy?" Naruto asked suspiciously with narrowed eyes. "Believe me, Shinobi-san. I'm a boy. I must leave now. My parent will be waiting for me," Haku said and attempted to leave. But, it's okay, Shinobi-san. I can't blame you for thinking I'm a girl. It happens regularly in my life," Haku said with a sweet smile and started walking towards the tree line. I know you are a girl. Found ya." Naruto yelled happily as he pointed an accusing finger at Haku. "Whatever makes you sleep at night." "See you," she said and vanished into the tree line. He made a clone and dispelled it to transfer his orders to the second blood clone, and after receiving a confirmation, he joined Team 7 in their routine. That evening, the day went by uneventfully while all blood clones did as decided and did their job smoothly. They still didn't get any reply or order from the original, and this is going to be their topic of discussion today. As they met in the same clearing, they relayed everything that happened during the day, and after getting all the details in, they started the main topic. "So the original is not responding yet," said the first blood clone. "Maybe he was kidnapped and can't use chakra," suggested another one. "Idiot, if he can't use chakra, we would be dispelled." "I think he might be unconscious or in some other place where we can't contact him," suggested the third clone. "That's a plausible line, but what should we do? Kakashi and Zabuza will be recovered in a couple of days at best at the rate of their healing. Kakashi is almost running and almost recovered his chakra, while Zabuza's hand is fully healed and he is planning something in 2 days." The second clone said. He got reports on Kakashi's health and saw Zabuza's recovery himself and confirmed that. So he wants to do something about this. "What? How many days has it been?" "I didn't feel anything go by," said the third clone. "If you include the attacking day, 2.5 days had passed and I think they would be up and running by day after tomorrow." "Man, I wish the original was here. If we go through the plan, I don't know we would be successful or not," said the second clone. "Let's go through it. We can't wait for his response any longer. I want to go with it tomorrow night while everyone is sleeping. Don't you think it'll alert Gato and his goons? That's why I'll do my best to find which is where and we will go through it tomorrow. We can plan where to attack first to cut communications and get a swift victory," cheered the third clone. "Yeah, for victory." They all cheered and started going through the plan. "But Zabuza, he is sharp, Zabuza-sama, and even acted like an idiot just to fool me," she replied in a stern tone. "Oh and?" He is confident that I'm a girl and I didn't confirm either. I think he is practicing tree climbing and slept out of exhaustion in the clearing, she explained her analysis. He is dangerous among the bunch, Haku. Don't let your guard down. Zabuza warned and Haku nodded. Can I attack tomorrow? I suggest waiting one more day. Though you are fully recovered, your arm needs some rest. She explained in a concerned tone, and Zabuza nodded. Then we should plan for the day after tomorrow, Zabuza said, and Haku nodded and changed his bandages. They are going to strike back and strike back hard. He is not going to leave his dream of seeing a peaceful Kurigakure for some old man and a rundown island nation. He is going to see a peaceful Kiri. What if Naruto uses Kage Bunshin to train for Chunin exams? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.